and then start streaming. Okay, let me know if it is streaming or not.
Yep, we're live.
We are live. Okay. Do you want to put through another message on like the Discords and stuff, letting people know that we're live, maybe?
Are we still live?
I don't know. Are we? Yeah, it says I can. It seems we are. Yeah.
It seems to have stopped.
It hasn't for me. Yeah, I can still see everything on mine.
Yes, we are now back, which is excellent.
We have 3 viewers.
Hey, 3 viewers.
I think at least 2 of them are us.
Possibly so. Did you name the stream after the thing?
No, I think I just named it. Might still be called test.
I think it is still called test.
God, I don't know how to change the name though.
You know what? We might have to figure that out later. Hello, everybody, if anyone's watching this, which I think you are.
Yeah, this is our first adventure into streaming. So of course we thought we'd do it, you know, for a big event in front of a lot of people that a lot of people care about.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, boy. But yep, if you've never seen a Screech Bomb commentaries video before, we are both Keyforge players. We've been playing Keyforge for about a year. In fact, my good co-host Callum, the good Dr. Young, is the one who got me into Keyforge.
And I've regretted it ever since.
He has,
all downhill since then.
It was a big mistake.
Hey, looks here. It does work.
It does. And yeah, so we tend to do like a bit of a deck chat at the start of all our videos, where we kind of like pick out bits of decks that we like, bits of decks that we don't like, kind of like any combos we can see. So we'll be doing that for the next kind of like half an hour or so before we jump into the games between. Who are we doing today, Callum?
Well, we're doing the 3rd round of the KFPL match from Group D, featuring Jfilipeg from the United Archons Prime, who's out of Portugal, and Aeroyak, who's from Team Beerforge in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start off with Jfilipeg's decks.
We will
who's
indeed.
Currently leading Group D. Oh, this is so weird. I'm going on in my head now that we're live, not recording to video. So let's start off with much improved Noor of the Subway, which quite frankly looks very, very good all round, as reflected by the 90 SAS, and looks absolutely miserable to play against. Bluntly.
Yeah, very much not your kind of deck that you particularly enjoy.
I am not a fan of the control, so I will hate this because it has Eaton's Jar, so you can just ban stuff.
Yep, so Eaton's Jar, for anyone who hasn't seen it. Yep, so name a card until Eaton's Jar leaves play. Cards of that name cannot be played.
Yep, kind of a big problem for a lot of decks. Just straight ban them.
Yeah. So especially if you've got like any decks that have got kind of like triples or doubles or even quadruples in some cases, or even quintuples in other cases, then a Eaton's Jar can be really good at just shutting your opponent down and just being like, well, you have to just discard these and take a turn to discard these. It's not even just them not playing them, it's the fact that they stick in your hand and essentially chain you into bad turns for no reason.
Yep, you've got Infernus with a triple Stirring Grave, and the Obsidian Forge just kill your Infernus and Stirring Grave it immediately. But you can also be bringing back a lot of other stuff with those Stirring Graves. So double Bonea things, potentially Fandangles, Keyfrog, Inspectors, all sorts, but probably going to be Infernuses.
Yep. Look at the shadows quickly, and quite a few rares in this. I'm just going to kind of like mouse over if anyone's not seen them. Finishing Blow, destroy damaged creature if you do steal one. We have Gambling Den, one of the favorite cards in the game. At the start of each player's turn, that player may choose a house. If they do, reveal the top card of their deck. If it's the named house, they gain 2. Otherwise, they lose 2. Incredibly fun card.
Yes, may not get played in that deck because there's obviously a lot of Ember control. You wouldn't want to lose to a Gambling Den. However, it does have the Pincerator, which I think you will almost always play.
Yeah, at the end of each turn, deal 1 damage to each flank creature, and it's each turn, so both on the person who owns the Pincerator's turn and their opponent's turn too.
Yeah, so it's just going to shred its way through boards, but also combos very well with the Rad Penny,
Mm-hmm.
and it just ding that back in your deck every turn,
Yep.
and the Brabble, which will, at the end of your opponent's turn, destroys the
Ah,
Brabble, and they'll lose 3.
I had not thought of that. That's very astute.
Yep.
Yeah, that is clever.
So that's also possibly big Stirring Grave target, right? Because then you just play it, and at the end of their turn, they lose 3 Ember.
That's very nice. Yeah. I find another one to look at is Master Plan. Put a card from your hand face down under Master Plan, and in Omni play the card under Master Plan. So could see some interesting plays coming out of that. Finally, the Untamed. Again, just a really nice set of Untamed too. You know, you got Reclaimed by Nature for getting rid of those pesky transporter platforms or auto encoders or anything else that you really don't want to be seeing again.
Yep, a lot of good stuff. You also have the Key Frog
Mm-hmm.
with the Savage Class and the Vault's Blessing, so potential big burst, and then the Key Frog gets taken out either by the Savage Class or by the Pincerator at the end of your opponent's turn.
Very true, yeah. And so nine mutants. So not the biggest amount of mutants to take advantage of that False Blessing, and against other decks could come run into trouble. But still, if it's not got any definitely could be seeing some large Ember coming out from that, and the Savage Clash being used as a finisher.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a really rough deck to play against because there's 6.5 score in recursion, which is pretty big. So you're going to be like playing all of these nasty creatures again and again and again, whilst generating quite a bit of Ember in doing so. Because it's 29 expected Ember, 16 pips. So it could be real rough.
It is indeed. So second deck we'll look at is Countess Bentact Twiz Holmes.
Yes, so here we have some Coda, some of the classics, Dis Shadows Untamed.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be lacking a few of the things you might expect from Dis Shadows Untamed, but it's still looking pretty tasty.
Yeah, this is one thing I picked up. Kind of like we sometimes have a little bit of a pre-chat before we started this, and I think this is an interesting because it's. I think you're missing like you've got no key cheats in Untamed, you've got no big Ember control in Shadows, and you've got none of like the kind of some of the classic cards like your Control the Weaks, for example, in Dis. You know, and it's a good Koto deck. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice Koto deck,
Very
but
good.
it's not necessarily like the kind of the level of Coda deck for these 3 houses that I'd expect to see here, especially with the speed of -3.5.
Yeah, I mean, we may have just become jaded over time doing KFPL stuff because you do still have like in the Dis double gateway and a potentially for a very nasty Arise play with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Dis creatures,
Mm-hmm.
including potential hits for Charette or Drumble comboing the Terror.
Yep. Also,
Uh,
Shula's a nice one as well, just to kind of get
yeah.
a little bit of steel in a pinch.
The
But
Shadows, whilst doesn't have a TMTP, does have 3 Nerve Blasts, a Relentless Whispers, um, a Bait Switch.
yeah, bait and switch definitely would have been like this deck would have been a lot better pre the bait and switch nerf as well.
As quite a few of them were.
Yep. We see a couple of interesting rares. Customs Office, a card that we often pick up upon, and we've seen quite a few decks in this, which is because it's a very powerful card. Is your opponent must pay you 1 in order to play an artifact. Can set up some really awkward turns for your opponent to deal with, and if you get this out early, can really net you quite a bit of Ember if your opponent's playing artifact heavy decks.
And you do get quite a few artifact heavy decks these days.
Hmm.
And then the Untamed is interesting. It's not as bursty as a lot of Coda Untamed you see, but does have a lot of useful things in it. So stuff like Grasping Vines is more artifact control. Curiosity to kill 3 Edis at once, say. If we're thinking about competitive meta,
Just a
slash
little
the
bit
rest of this
easier.
slash the rest of this matchup.
Yeah.
Nepseed is always good, Witch the Eye is always good. So it's got a lot of useful things in it.
It does, but I say it's just kind of like the things that are missing. You know, like you tend to see decks with multiple hunting witches, with a key charge, with a full moon, with a Chota Hazri. This deck's got none of those things, and it's not got even Nature's Call, for example, either or Regrowth to bring back your Dust Pixie. It's just
Yeah,
you expect to see we've kind of like Kota's been out so long and kind of like the meta's been distilled for Kota so much at this point. You kind of like I think like you say we have probably become jaded and expect to see these incredible untamed kind of like suites with crazy shadows and dis or logos with them. And maybe I'm dealing this deck down too much and I'm going to be proved completely wrong when we get into the game and this deck is going to do some
yeah.
mad things.
I think it's that it's a variant of this that has more tools adapted to the meta. So like the 18 creature control is something that you don't see much in Coda decks, but this one has, will let it compete against other out of set things.
Very true. Yeah, I think that's very astute, actually. Yeah.
So then we move on to the Ice König des Funkels, or the Ice King of Sparkles.
Great name. I think this may
Great
be up
name.
there with my favorite names thus far I've seen from the KFPL.
It's certainly pretty up there. The Ice King of Sparkles is excellent.
Captain Gravity is still good.
Captain Gravity. Yeah, I'm recording Captain Gravity, but Ice King's pretty close. So the first thing I noticed here is there's 25 Ember control, and that is a huge amount.
It's a lot. You know, you've got Ember control in every house. You've got the EDIs and information exchanges. You've got the Ronnie Ristlocks and the Brens. You've got
and the Manchego, the Trust No One, and the Jfilipeg. It just keeps
I mean,
coming.
The Manchego, it's you got the Retagalims and the tributes in the Saurian.
Like, I'm not saying Manchego's the best, but you know, it's not nothing.
I would go far as to say that Manchego is bad and should feel bad.
Wow, that is a dramatic take.
Just 5 off you is so hard to do. I have played decks with Manchego in before. I've played it like 20 times and I pulled it off maybe twice, and it's so hard to do.
It's not easy, but it's there. And yeah, you're never gonna run out of Ember control with this deck. You will keep going for a long time. And on top of that, you have the lateral shift.
Yeah, so lateral shift, for anyone who's not seen it, is an anomaly. So particularly rare card. My first Worlds Collide deck that I got actually had a lateral shift in. Unfortunately, it wasn't very good, but it was very fun to play. It is look at your opponent's hand, play a card from that hand as if it were yours.
Just kind of dumb. I think we might be seeing this in DT. I would not be surprised. There is a fish person on it.
I think all the cards have been spoiled at this point, and I don't recall having heard that lateral shift is in the thing. But
okay, well then screw my opinions. I know nothing.
Just a fun little thing in the flavor text is it's the flavor text from Kinken Alliance Outcast, of course. Psyops to Kinken, a Star Alliance creature. Clearly, something has happened in this lateral shift that has caused him to become an outcast. We don't know what, but I damn want to find out.
What has happened to Kinkan?
What has happened to Kinken?
But yeah, very good card, very powerful, and the deck's very good. Big problem for it is that it's very light on creature control.
It is, yeah. I mean, you've got something of a board. You've got stuff like a Hapsis, a Mimic Gel, a Titan Guardian. You've got a Trisyrian Legionary and some Ludus that might allow you to fight. Not usually be fighting with the Ludo, but I think in this deck, definitely possible. So maybe that's what you'd be tending to do. But yeah, if someone gets a fast start against you and gets a big board early on, it can be real hard for you to deal with that.
Yeah, when Javinder and Simon are 2 out of your 5 creature control cards, then yeah, you might have a problem.
Yeah, Chimera Eclipse though, to be fair.
Chimera Eclipse and Stomp are decent.
Yeah. And funny, just looking at the Saurian as well, you know, with those triple Ludos, stuff like using that tribute, using that golden spiral, reaping with those Retagalims suddenly becomes a lot easier to do because you're fairly sure if this happens, you're probably just going to be able to dump off that Ember without having to go back to your opponent's pool.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Jfilipeg's lineup. It is pretty spicy.
It is indeed. But let's look at his opponent Aeroyak's lineup.
And it's worth noting, I think, that Jfilipeg has not yet lost a game in the KFPL. Noor got banned twice, and the other 2 decks have both gone 2-0.
So Noor was much with Noor in the subway. I can see why you'd ban that deck. That is scary.
I could certainly see that.
That means we don't know. Has the Gambling Den ever been played? Maybe we'll find out today. I hope
maybe we will. Perhaps. So let's have a look at Aeroyak decks.
Indeed we will. So first one we'll talk about is Garda del Zoologico El Plateado.
New viewers, welcome to our world of pronunciation, where we take a series of random guesses as to what things sound like. I can tell you that Google told me that is the Silver Zookeeper.
Oh.
Which is nice.
Nice.
So you have 17 speed in this. You have double Valgerico.
It's 2-party system, yeah.
And several of the aliens. You're going to use that and the logos to cycle through your deck a lot.
You are indeed. And it's got some good ways of keeping that Jericho in the middle. Stuff like Teleport Chief Tink can be really helpful, just for kind of shifting around that Jericho, make it easier to keep in the middle. If you want to use the action for that.
The fact there's two of them is going to help.
Yep, you also got just some really useful things in Starlights too, like Detention Coil can be a really good one if someone's got like a big stompy thing, can stop that. Hapless Cadet as well. It's a rare you might not have seen, it's not too common, but Taunt, 3 power, and then destroys your opponent and loses 3. So basically just Rabble, but way, way better.
Pretty good taunt.
Yeah, really good taunt.
Somehow not a cat, outrageously.
It is not a cat. No, that is. No, it's an alien.
Despite being it's a cat. Yeah, so the Ember control is very strong, especially with the speed you cycle through it. So double Infernus for the double Stirring Grave and the Obsidian Forge. So we're going to see that, as we might see in Nor as well.
Mm-hmm.
Pandemonium, Brabble, the Hapless Cadet, plenty of it.
Yeah, an Obsidian Forge good here with your Infernuses and your Stirring Graves too. Really good for just kind of getting rid of those and getting them back in your archive ready to play the next turn you want to.
Yep. Also, the fact that it's got 22 creatures with the Obsidian Forge.
Yeah, definitely pick potential for you to pull that off and get those kind of like generally using your Obsidian Forge to forge your last key, and I think that's definitely possible. Got Fission Bloom as well with some nice Ember Pips and such knocking around. So, for example, if you can hit it on your Mutinex Serum, that's a draw and a Ember Icon. Be a pretty nice one to hit with a Fission Bloom.
Yeah. So the big problem for this deck is the creature control, and that it is, again, incredibly limited.
Yeah, and this is a common theme across quite a few of Aeroyak's decks we've seen when we commented on before. Not a big fan of the creature control, much happier just to kind of have a lot of creatures and kind of like let whatever will be.
What I found down. So you do have Maleficorn and 8 damage pips.
Mm-hmm.
4 of which are on one of the Valjericos.
Yeah.
So that's your potential sort of quasi board wipe, very entertainingly.
Yeah, you can't really see it in the picture that easily, but oh yeah, in the second one you can indeed see that is. How did that even happen?
I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it does, evidently, yeah, but it's
one of the most enhanced cards I've seen.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, if you can get that, I mean, the thing is that Jericho is, if you got your other Jericho in the middle, you can maybe play that Maleficorn and then play your second Val Jericho in a turn, and they don't even see it coming.
Nope. Big problem.
Mm-hmm.
So deck's light on creature control, but you kind of want to like rush your way to a big board to the point where you can throw creatures into other creatures for creature control.
You do indeed. Second deck we'll look at today is Sherman El Escaleno della Camera.
Oh, this is butchering this. Sherman the Chamber Scale, as I've translated it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love this. I love this sort of nonsense.
I mean, this deck is madness to me because it has 1.8 creature control, which seems ludicrous.
That is a problem, but you're basically going to go as fast as you possibly can.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because you have 27 speed, which is ridiculous. And you have like double Valjericó again, triple Edai, Tau Tau, Igor, the legacy director of ZYX, and then a Kirby with a transporter platform, and then a bunch of, so many more things that give you speed. So you basically use the efficiency you get and the multi-house shenanigans to basically do as many things as possible on any one turn and just cycle lots and lots and lots. Usually in Logos Star Alliance Untamed, the glaring weakness is the Ember control, but here it's not actually that bad. You've got 3 Edais and 2 Cutthroats, which combo together pretty well.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice one. You've got the one Comos for Kirby with the transport platform. You can do a lot with that. Stealth mode can be a really annoying one, as can Fog Bank as well. If you can get both of those on the same turn as you you can, Callum, that can be very often very troublesome to deal with.
Brief preview of my game that I think we're commentating next week, where I'll be playing a deck that has double Kirby, double Fog Bank stealth mode.
Yep.
Which is the only circumstances in which the Helmsman Spears lives.
Yep, we've got Sonic Officer Lang, which is after an enemy creature reaps, archives the top card of your deck. One of these got cards that, like, theoretically it's really good until it's 3 power, and it's just very easy just to get rid of and not deal with its effect.
But it is just annoying is the thing, and you could probably whack that behind a Kirker, and it might cause some problems.
It might indeed, yeah. And just some other rares. It's got Giant Norbill, which you very rarely see, but after a player chooses an active house, that player destroys an artifact of that house.
Decent artifact controlled. Go with the Grasping Vines as well.
Yeah, could cause some real trouble for some people. And
But
Inca the
yeah.
Spider, poison, play, and stun a creature. So 1 power, generally going to get hit by a damage icon, but if it sticks around, can do some really annoying things with Inca
and
the
that
Spider.
is one of your 1.8 creature control.
Is it?
It's an Inca the Spider and a stunner.
Yeah,
there is literally no way in this deck to put something to kill something off the board without fighting it.
Yeah.
If you put something behind a taunt, they have to fight the taunt and then fight the other thing.
And I guess the one that you could say is, though, that this deck does have 99 board. It's got some big, muscly creatures that can hopefully come in and kind of like dig you out of a hole and do a bit of fighting, with the Hapsises, the Kurikars, maybe do even a bit of fighting with the Valjericho, potentially.
And the Fittest to beef things up a little bit as well.
Along with the Pampaka Jagger as well. If you can get that down
that's true.
Just do some skirmishing too, could do some nice
It may be less of a problem than we think, especially because you mostly just try and rush your way to victory anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the kind of deck where if it's going much past like 8 or 9 turns, you're into serious trouble with this deck. But you can maybe, with that kind of level of board, with some other things, you can maybe kind of like shift that point a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and it really needs a key charge that it does not have.
Yeah, we got a comment from Ugluk here. No creature control, not his style of deck. I fully agree, Ugluk. Clearly, we are the more informed and enlightened Keyforge players.
No, to be fair, even I would balk at this little creature control. But he's picked it for a reason. We'll see how it goes.
We will indeed.
Potential for it to just go off. So the final deck we have is H. Hugh, Wanderer of the Diamond Monolith.
Strong name.
Good name, like it. And again, we have Kota Dis Shadows Untamed.
Yeah, and I think the comparison with this and Jfilipeg's deck is kind of like crystallizes what I was talking about here. This has a lot more of the things that you'd expect to see in a deck of this archetype. You've got the control the weaks, you've got the too much protect and the shadows, you've got the full moon and the key charge in the Untamed.
Yeah, it's much more conventional burst. I think that's reflected by the fact that expected Ember is 33 instead of 21 from before. You've got your Dis, which is the board control, Ember control, and some disruption. Control the weak, Dust Imps, Pit Demons. You have the big Steely Shadows.
Yeah, it's interesting with the kind of Dust Imps. Normally, we want to see like a gateway to Dis to kind of take full advantage of that, but we don't have it here. But you could do some stuff with the Dance of Doom for definite.
Dance of Doom is a pretty decent board wipe, and a Hysteria as well.
Exactly.
Again, we see a Customs Office.
We do, yeah. Customs Office again. Like, I think Customs Office is a really solid card. We might see the fun interaction where someone has to pay a customs office to play their own customs office, rival customs officers. I think there's a sitcom in that. I think we could make a sitcom of that.
I don't know. Brexit has meant I've already dealt with enough customs office shenanigans for I think a lifetime. Ring the satire bell.
But it's 12 creatures though. One of the kind of smallest amount of creatures you'll see in a deck.
Damn, I missed that. That is so few.
Yeah, and almost. I think this may be one of the early runs of Kota. So I don't know that much about this. I've kind of been whispered about this, but apparently in the earlier runs of Kota, they hadn't changed the algorithm. So sometimes you can get houses that have like less creatures than later runs of Kota. So, for example, you only have a Silvertooth and an Urchin in Shadows. There's only 2 creatures. I think later runs there was a minimum of 3.
You only have 3 in the Untamed as well, I think.
Exactly, yeah. And whereas you've got quite a lot in the Dis. So I think this might be an example of that. If anyone who knows more about this wants to correct me, feel free. But it is a very interesting one, especially when you've got 2 decks that are 22 creatures and quite kind of board heavy and rely on using that board to then switch to such a creature light deck. It shows a versatility in Aeroyak.
Yeah, and I think we see, like, interestingly, a sort of some like adaptations to the meta here with those Untamed, where you have the triple nocturnal maneuvers and like the Lost in the Woods and the Grasping Vines, all of which things will be generally more useful if that makes sense, in the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's telling that you've got all three houses with bounce effects and like how prevalent kind of like Saurians are, especially with you've got some like Curiosaurus, Amphoraicaptura type decks, being able to Hysteria, being able to Lights Out, being able to Lost in the Woods, all very important for kind of getting around that potential kind of like big Curiosaurus and Amphoraicaptura plays that are a thing, as well as kind of stuff like your Imperial Scutums, your Ludos, and things too.
Yep, pretty much. So, what do we think about bans?
It's a toughie. Let's talk about Aeroyak's decks first.
Yes.
I would, in my heart, I'd say I want to ban Sherman just because this kind of deck I can't stand playing against. It's not my bag at all. Just to kind of like, I don't care what you're doing. I'm just gonna run away and do my own thing. If you can stop me, feel free. But if you can't, then
I don't think he will, because I think he sees the 1.8 creature control and is confident that he could build up enough problems where that's gonna get him through. I think you ban the Coda because you don't want to be outrushed. Other of your decks require a bit of setup,
yeah,
all the right draws, and that could just obviously burst a huge amount of ember incredibly quickly.
it is always the risk, especially with kind of with Coda decks and Coda Rush decks, that these are the kind of decks where someone can just win out of nowhere and there's nothing you can do about it. Like if you get that good Hunting Witch turn with a full moon and a key charge, just out of nowhere you can just like, right, and I've won, and that's always difficult. Also, triple nocturnal maneuver is something that we've slept on a bit in the past, and like after watching more of Aeroyak's plays, we kind of like have seen how useful that can be too.
Yeah, for example, shut off your Rita Gallums or something if you're playing against the Ice King.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think if you're Aeroyak, you probably ban Nur of the Subway.
Let me just have a quick look. See. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one because I don't necessarily know how many of his decks are that badly affected by that ends jar. I mean, I think probably Sherman is, because just kind of having a card that you just can't play can really gum up the works of that when you're trying to just play a lot of cards.
I think though, like all of them, you're looking at doubles and triples, right?
Mm.
So, and all of them have like individual key things. You're looking at triple nocturnal maneuvers. You're looking at triple Edis. You're looking at double Valjericho
Mm-hmm.
in two different decks.
Yep.
And your artifact control is okay in some of them, but not amazing. Like you just are going to pay one to put down an Eaton's Jar, right?
I'd maybe consider banning um, Ice King of Sparkles, purely
I could see
because
that,
we've
yeah.
talked about how little creature control Aeroyak has, and much moving over the subway board not a massive factor in it.
No.
Neither is it in Countess. Ice King board is a massive factor, and if you're assuming that your Kota is going to get banned, which I think is likely, then
Maybe.
that's the deck that you're going to have the most trouble dealing with.
Bit of like big brain stuff there.
Yeah, and that's why I think we could be seeing Ice King being banned, but I think it probably is between Nur and Ice King.
I think so too. All right, so games will be starting shortly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we'll do in the meantime is we'll just mute ourselves or stop streaming or something.
I'll leave the stream going just so we can jump on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute myself briefly just to go and get some water, and then I'll be back shortly, and we'll continue with the kind of
Yes,
pre-game
can you mute
chat.
me as well? Is that a thing that you can do or not? I
If you
was
could,
wondering if we can talk without everyone listening in to make just so we can double check what the hell's going on and make sure everything's working properly.
oh no, I don't know how to do that, and I'm too scared to do it in case I break
As we
anything.
stop, that's reasonable. We'll just mute our mics then and have this conversation later.
Yes. Okay.
Or I can
One
just
second.
send you a message like a normal person.
I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, I am returned. So yeah, anyone who's in the chat at the moment, if you want to see what you think you banned for each player, we'd love to hear it. See if you agree with us. See if you think that we are fools and incorrect. Feel free to add that to the chat now.
Just to give us any content at all.
Yeah, and I suppose what we haven't said is what who do you think's gonna win then, Callum? Who have you got, who's your pick?
Who is my pick? I don't know, you know. Be tempted to go for the very boring one of just picking Jfilipeg because he's currently leading the group.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see it going either way. But I'll default to Jfilipeg.
Okay, yeah, I think I'd agree with you there. I think like all three of Jfilipeg's deck look fierce.
Yeah, I'm not wanting to play any of them.
But I'm interested to see Countess be played here because, as I say, I feel like I'm missing something with it because to me it doesn't seem like kind of like the archetypal deck of what you'd expect from a Kota deck, and I'm just kind of wondering, is there some kind of like special source to it that that's going to really take it above?
Yeah, so we have some suggestions from the chat about what they think they might be banned. Muffins, who is a dear friend of the stream, has suggested that mutant cut purses, 2 mutant cut purses, is too much.
That is true. Yeah, it
no
can't.
must be banned. It's Kidman ready to take notes. Yep, that's not the worst idea, as I assume you have this game somewhere else in the KFPL.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the mutant cut purses that are the true terror of like Eaton Scar, whatever. But mutant cut purses is that's a card that
Just
strikes
too
fear into the
powerful.
hearts of everyone in the UK scene.
Can't even remember why. I know this is a running joke now, but I've forgotten how this started.
Because mutant cut purse is the best card in the game, Callum. It's three. Right, let's look at mutant cut purse. Let's look at it in depth here, because I think everyone needs to appreciate that
I think
this
the
is
game.
it's
I
a
think the game.
mutant and a thief. It's 3 power, and it gives you 3 damage pips. I mean, what more could you want? Look at it, 52.9% win rate.
That's a pretty good win rate.
I'm not saying it's the best card in the game. I'm just saying what cards are better.
I mean, so let's have a look at what else we've got in No. We have the Shadow Smith, very strong. All mutants becoming elusive.
Does it give you any damage pips?
It doesn't. No,
Worse.
This is true. No damage pips. Okay, the bans are coming in.
Okay, oh, exciting.
See if I can get that information. And we just wait for a game to
appear. Our roving reporter finding that out for us.
The phrase roving reporter is particularly grim to apply to this in COVID times. I have roved from the sofa to my desk. And that is how far I have roved to find out this information.
And Jfilipeg has banned HU.
The Kota deck.
The Kota deck, as we expected.
And Aeroyak
banned the Ice King. Thank you. Thank you.
So the Baron wins this round.
Excellent. Well, I think we should be seeing the games begin very shortly. We are awaiting with bated breath.
Yes, I'll try and keep an eye on the Twitch chat whilst this game is happening, but I opened a different tab to do this, and I'm literally not sure how to look at both at the same time. I think Lark can see the stream chat.
I can, yeah. Uglook agreeing that mutant cut purse, thief and mutant come on. Yeah, he knows. Uglook gets it. Muffin says to open it on your phone.
It's okay, I've got some tabs.
Yep, here we go. We have the game has been created. I'm gonna hang on. It has opened in the wrong tab, so I'm just gonna close that and just do it manually. Going in.
Like I can't even function. Okay, the stream does appear to be.
But no, it's cool. I've got the chat in my OBS window, so I'll keep an eye out for anything coming through on that as we await.
This is why we need me. Yeah, this is why there's the third member of Team Screech for Bomb, who is Matt Tuck, who is the technical support, who is not present today. Will you be on a 5-minute delay? This is a good question.
I do not know.
I think we're supposed to be, but I don't think we are. I think there is a delay.
There is a delay, yes, but I don't know how long it is, and I don't know how to change it.
Oh boy, this Muffins says it's not needed, so
good.
We are saved from that nonsense because I don't know how to do that either.
No,
but it's closed hands, so realistically, there is only so much fuckery that can go on.
yeah, we're also just kind of trusting both players and both players' teams to kind of like live up to the sportsmanly conduct that is expected of the KFPL too.
Yeah. And for those obviously paying rapt attention, I've solved my issue by opening different browsers, and so I can look at two things at once. It's going to be great.
And I think with closed hands, the need for a delay is lesser purely because if someone wanted to do any kind of skullduggery with it, they could they could do other ways, such as kind of sharing their screen by doing that if they wanted to kind of get live advice. So us doing this probably doesn't matter, and we are just going to say we're not saying any player would do that. I think we've not had any kinds of that kind of action.
Nah, nothing's doing this so far.
But yeah, but definitely, obviously, having open hands would change that a lot, and I think then we would definitely need to do that delay.
Changes the commentary as well. Earlier, we commentate some games that will be coming out later, and it's like we had less of an idea of what was happening, but surprise and enthusiasm was far more genuine.
It was
the crazy plays.
Yep, Jfilipeg just asking for 1 minute. In the meantime, we'll see what we're playing. So we have Jfilipeg on the top of the screen, playing much improved Nor of the Subway. First, this is its KFPL debut. I think it might be, because obviously been banned both times in previous games.
Yeah, and there's going to be some interesting meta choices as I think the KFPL goes on, where obviously this deck was banned the first two times, but Jfilipeg went 2-0 both games. So you start to get inside your head a little bit and be like, is that the ban? They seem to have done perfectly well without it.
Yeah. And on the bottom of the screen, you have Aeroyak playing Garda dello Zoologico El Plateado.
Which is, I believe, the Silver Zookeeper.
Indeed.
If anyone in the chat speaks the language that this is, which I think is Spanish, please tell us whether that's correct.
I'm sure it is not. My flatmate speaks Italian, and she has commented on my attempts to say Italian deck names before and just gone, "Oh no," and then walked out the room once. So
yeah, we are Brit. I know that it's a terrible British stereotype. Kidman's asking, just is that deck the translation that we thought, where it's
yeah.
what was it?
By translation, we just kind of put it through Google Translate and see what comes out. I think it was, Garda del Zoologica El Plateado, which we've taken to be God of the Zoo.
The Silver Zookeeper.
That's the one, yeah.
So we'll see, I guess.
Well, indeed. But here we are.
Fortunately, kinda yes. So Google Translate coming through for us.
Yeah, so we have Aeroyak going first, 7 cards in hand. Going to see if we see any mulligans here.
Do get a mulligan from Jfilipeg. From Aeroyak, sorry.
Have we?
Yes, I think so.
I think they've got 7 cards there, haven't they? I don't think they did mulligan.
Oh no, maybe not.
And with a Val Jericho in your opening hand, I don't think you do. No.
Yep. Big opener, very nice.
Yep. Captain Val Jericho and a Fission Bloom. Nice to get out early, be able to kind of take advantage of all of those Logos Ember Pips. Jfilipeg, I doubt he's going to be thrilled with seeing that across the table from him straight off the bat. As we see Dis, Obsidian Forge, Brabble, and an Eaton's Jar. Oof.
Okay.
Big starts from both players.
What do you jar here? One of the Val Jericos has already shown up, but I think still could be a choice.
I think it could be Infernus, maybe. I'd be tempted by.
Infernus would be a good shout.
You
could hit the Stirring Graves.
Could, yeah.
It's gonna take a moment.
Does he have his own Infernus though? Actually, so maybe doesn't want to hit Stirring over Infernus. He has 3 Stirring Graves of his own and an Infernus of his own too.
Okay, it is double-sided, so this is more complicated than usual.
It really is. Yeah, I think maybe just a Val Jericho could be a strong one to hit. Definitely doesn't want to see that coming out. And
Yep,
Captain
Valjericho
it is, yeah. Just,
but but luckily for Aeroyak, does get one down already. So can get some value out for that.
And Jfilipeg incorrectly saying best card in the game is Valjericho when it is in fact Mutant Cutpurse.
It's shocking that a KFPL player of his quality would not recognize Mutant Cutpurse. So what are we going to get off the Valjericho while it lives?
Yeah. And we only see the lay of the land here. Now, do we have any artifact control from Aeroyak's deck to maybe free the second Valjericho?
Flat 0.
Flat 0. Okay, so but can't be too upset being able to get one Valjericho out before that Eton's Jar comes down. We're going to see the Infernus 2. Not the best time to get an Infernus, really. Not much in Jfilipeg's discard. And going to purge the break key in the lay of the land. A little bit of self-purge action. Very popular archetype in the UK scene at the moment.
Don't tell anyone. Apparently it's a hidden secret.
Oh, is it? Okay. And some cards chat there from Aeroyak's second best card before Eton's Jar. I mean, again, I feel like they're both missing the Mutant Cutpurse being the best card in the game, you know.
No!
And there it is.
Boom!
There's the boy.
This is basically over.
It's just perfect, you know. It brings a tear to your eye.
Very cagey start from both of these decks so far.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think just like, you know, with Aeroyak, getting that Valjericho down early is important. Similarly for Jfilipeg, getting that into Jar to stop any further Valjericos down is also important. Yep. And as a result of both have kind of just been done to maximize that. But I think we may now start to see the game open up a bit more. See the Hapless Cadet come down.
Very nice Eclectic Inquiry.
Yeah, Eclectic Inquiry, just an example of just a really good logos card that seems very prevalent in Mass Mutation, you know. And there's that discarded and that's the Captain Valjericho with those 4 damage pips onto.
True. Moving the Jericho out of the middle, which was an interesting choice. I would have thought you would put more creatures on the other side.
Yeah, I would think so. But no, keeps happy to just kind of like shunt it to the side a little bit. Especially when you're playing, what was that? 3 creatures, you definitely could have kind of like kept it more towards the middle, but presumably Aeroyak has a plan for this. And we see the Savage Clash as well. It didn't even matter.
Savage Clash being played with the Master Plan.
Yep, just holding
very good card to put under there.
And when your opponent has no artifact control, it can be a really good one just to kind of put under there and just be like, right, I'm just going to keep this and have this just on the board ready to play at any opportunity. And you see from Muffins there, #free the Val. Unfortunately, the Vals can no longer be freed and shall live in purgatory forever. We are going to see the Diametric Charge from Aeroyak. Very fast moving game here. Not much time to breathe between either player.
Which is good because when they take longer, we start to panic and fill the airwaves with silence.
We're going to see the Fission Bloom playing the Umbrabot, getting 2 damage pips.
2 damage pips?
But also because of that Maleficorn.
Ooh, how does this interact work?
It just does them both. So
you get 4.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's handy.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah. And just getting that second, you get a Demon Bot and an Umbrabot, all the bots. As we go into Shadows, Reap with the Mutant Cutpurse. What a guy. And the Shadowsmith coming down as well, giving that elusive Bone Knifing. Can't steal anything at the moment because no keys have been forged. And the Perplexing Sophistry just for the singular Ember.
Interesting that Shadowsmith is double-sided, so all of Aeroyak's creatures are now elusive.
One of the Umbrabot was anyway, but so it is, yeah. And so is the Maleficorn as well.
Yeah, which is big, right? You really want to be doubling up those damage pips.
You really do. Stirring Grave here.
Probably an Infernus.
You've got to assume so, yeah. We do see Infernus's archive. Well observed there, Callum. And discards the Pandemonium. Makes sense because he doesn't want to be giving his opponent a whole bunch of Ember.
Once they got a check.
And Reclaim by Nature, hitting that Obsidian Forge, and that as well gets you an Ember and draws 2 cards alongside purging the Obsidian Forge. Jfilipeg gotta be happy with that. And Lost in the Woods, gonna hit. What would you hit? I guess the Brabble you'd want to hit.
Brabble, and you get rid of the Maleficorn, I think.
Maybe that Damobot though, I could see as well. Just wanting to kind of not wanting to be able to reap and not wanting to have to destroy it and allow Aeroyak to steal an Ember. is going to get the Pismire down, but doesn't stop the force because both players have 2 mutants. So Aeroyak is going to get the first key draw, first blood in this game.
But does drop the bow back into the deck with Lost in the Woods, so we'll be
does.
seeing them later.
He does indeed. And here comes, yeah, and we're going to put 2 damage on the Shadowsmith with the Sacro Alien. I love the combination mutants in this deck, actually. You see in here. We're going to see the Teleporter Chief Tink coming down, along with the Secura Droid. He plays a creature rather than an upgrade. You very rarely see the Secura Droid played as an upgrade, I find.
Kind of depends what else is in your deck. Or it just depends on like if you've got other creatures out in the middle you want to protect.
Yeah, I just think it's like Explorer Rover kind of like varies, and the elusive one you almost always see played in an upgrade, whereas Secura Droid almost always seen played as a creature.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm not sure.
But quite a sizable board here from Aeroyak. Jfilipeg got quite a lot to deal with here.
Yeah, especially if the Savage Clash is already gone.
Is
so
indeed.
it'll be a while before he gets that full white back. So if this Star Alliance board can stick, could be some real fun things happening.
Yep, Detention Coil going on the Shadowsmith. Can't think that Jfilipeg would be that fussed about fighting with it, but good just to get an Ember off it. Not going to be too mad about it.
Probably wasn't going to fight with the Pismire anyway.
No, I think more like to fight with the Shadowsmith than the Pismire. Essentially, just potentially actually just wanting to keep his mutants elusive and thinking, right, well, I'm going to make it way harder for him to kill his own Shadowsmith whenever he wants to.
That's actually a very good shout, because there's 9. How many? Sorry.
A Mark of
there's 9 mutants in both decks.
Into Star Alliance and Harvest Time.
How much is going to be left? No, very little.
Yep, I think hit human. Oh, was it Alien there? I think it was Alien was hit there.
So, Stirring Grave, probably. I know in Furnaces. Keyfrog, maybe?
Keyfrog or
Brabble, perhaps?
Strong shout, yeah. Yeah, Keyfrog or Brabble, I could see one of the two. And goes to the Brabble.
Yeah, because obviously with that Pincerator, the Brabble can be really very useful.
Yeah, as we talked about in the deck chat, definitely. Kidman X saying, I hope Jfilipeg loses, but I want him to win. Conflicted.
Conflicted local loyalties versus the fact that he's also in that group.
Yeah. And Jfilipeg just reaping, and Aeroyak, sorry, just reaping with a Secura Droid.
Real rough mark of this turn.
Yeah, not great at all. And what will Jfilipeg do here? Got a couple of creatures of every house, but maybe with that Brabble being archived, you've got to think either I'd say like Shadows to get that Pincerator down, or maybe Dis just to play the Brabble, get it on the board again.
Yeah, we haven't seen Shadows in a while, I don't think. So
we have not.
Potentially got a decent Shadows hand.
Yeah.
And if that Pincerator comes down, I think the deck really goes into overdrive.
It definitely does. Yeah, being able to hit stuff like Inspector, like the Brabble, like all those things can all be really nice targets for that. Also interesting, the Cinder with that too can kind of provide a buffer to anything you don't want to be kind of hit by it. You put to one side of the Cinder. And ooh, Dark Minion. I'm going to reap with the Inspector, put a damage on, I believe, the Maleficorn. It was, plays the Brabble. And Stirring Grave maybe brings back the Keyfrog now. If we do see the Keyfrog come back. Stirring Grave again. And archiving the Xeno Beast.
Not ideal. It's not just like Xeno Beast doesn't really seem the sort of thing you want to be bringing back.
Probably not, but he is. Is he reaping with the Cinder here? Did he fight with it? He fought with the Cinder. Oh no, he reaped it and destroyed the Inspector.
Taking out a Stirring Grave.
Yeah, can't think that Aeroyak is thrilled about that one. And plays the Hystricog next to, and there's the Infernus knocking Jfilipeg off the check.
So I think you hit the mark of Dis. Probably the Reclaim by Nature. Stirring Grave.
Stirring Grave market. Yeah, I think Reclaim by Nature, now that it's hit that Obsidian Forge, you're maybe less fussed about the rest of your artifacts. Vision Bloom's nice, but it's not doing you loads.
Also, here's the other Infernus, so you could take it now if you want.
You could take it now, yeah.
Maybe Savage Clash and something?
Yeah, I could see that. Let's have a look. Lost in the Woods and Master Plan, I think, makes a lot of sense, definitely. Kind of knock off some Ember, stop him shuffling things back into his deck, and also stop him shuffling his own things back into his deck.
Has Enraged Brabble.
That's one angry
Now the
grandpa.
shadows is going to come.
There we go. And we see the Bonithing going to steal one. Shadowsmith capturing one after that. Reap, Mutant Cutpurse, best card in the game. And there's two of them, making it even better. And finishing blow to take out the History Cog.
Straight back to check after being taken off with a double Infernus hit.
He is indeed. We're going to see logos here. Fission Bloom, resolving the bonus icon in the next card. And it's Mutagenic Serum.
Ooh-wee, nice. With the
Yeah.
draw on it as well.
Get a lot of draw. Eclectic Inquiry, archiving a bit. Just reaming through his deck here is Aeroyak, Groupthink, Tank, Adaptoid.
Good, but I don't think it's going to take him off check unless he can do something here.
Depends if you maybe want to Reap with the Umberbot to hit something with that. And he's just putting together a big board, though. Maybe just thinking, right, if I can't stop this key, I'm going to put together this big board. I'm going to have a Mutagenic Serum, which could do a lot next turn.
Yes, because it's currently like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mutants he just put
pretty
down.
much all of those logos cards, apart from that Groupthink Tank, are a mutant. And he's not afraid to use them.
Here comes the Red Penny. Going to be a bunch of reaping.
But it's just interesting here. This Shadowsmith, like almost everything on the board at the moment, is elusive. Is you've got to think about as well, right?
Yes, it's just going to be a free Adaptoid fight, probably.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're looking at Obsidian Forge and you're looking at a massive board.
Yeah, even if you can knock Jfilipeg off check here, you know, he's got what? How many? 9 creatures on the board? You've got to knock him below 3.
You need to go way down.
I mean, that's worse than that though, because you can Reap with that Dark Minion, so 2, realistically.
Yeah, could be the end.
It could be difficult. I mean, I think we're probably going to see some fighting here from Aeroyak, and that Groupthink Tank actually is huge.
Potentially, yes.
Just taking out all of those Shadows cards, just gone. Rad Penny, unfortunately, put back in the deck, but might be necessary.
It's going to lights out 2 things, so maybe the Groupthink Tank and the Adaptoid.
I would be very surprised if we didn't see that Groupthink Tank being hoyed back into his hand. And yeah, Jfilipeg thinking a lot here, which is understandable. You know, there's a big board, a lot of targets to choose from.
Yeah, and this feels like it could be game swinging, right? If you hit this correctly here, you can probably Obsidian Forge next turn.
100%, and that's why I think the Groupthink Tank is a must. Realistically, I can't think of anything else you'd want to send back other than that.
Yeah, I think Groupthink Tank and Adaptoid to prevent any big steal happening with the Mutagenic Serum.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Maybe one of the Umbra demo bots, you know, just gonna stop reaping, but Aeroyak just check in, make sure Jfilipeg's still connected and everything. But I think Jfilipeg probably just thinking.
So there is an effervescent principle in the deck that can take him off check.
There is, and we've only 5 cards left. It seems not too
unlikely
out of the possibility that we'll have it. Yeah. And we do see the Odd Claude in the Groupthink Tank. I think that's sensible. So he does have that as a principle. The Odd Claude could also steal an additional one, take him down quite a bit. So Aeroyak's turn here. It's difficult to know what you do here without being able to see the hand, but you still do something with Mutagenic Serum, maybe. And we see the Gambling Den is played. Love to see it, but I think very sensible here from Jfilipeg, to be honest, because if Aeroyak does take him down sufficiently, he could potentially just kind of like get that little chunk of Ember. And with 1 card left in the deck, he knows exactly what that is, too. So Jfilipeg has essentially got 2 free Ember next turn. Which is pretty big. And we do see the gambling den does reveal the Captain Val Jericho as well.
Had my mic off for a second then.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you disappeared or something. I was very confused. You left me all on my own. I was terrified.
No, I'm still here. Is there any way Aeroyak can pull this out?
I think with the principal, I don't know if he has enough pips to maybe hit with the Adaptoid.
Oh no, connection issues.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll reconnect in a moment. But no, you realistically here, you've got to get Jfilipeg to pretty much 0 Ember is the trouble now, and I just don't think he's got a way of doing that.
Yeah, I don't think there's a mechanism by which you can stop the Obsidian Forge from happening.
No.
Especially because he's going to get 2 Ember at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah, and that Shadowsmith is, I think it's kind of been low-key the MVP of this match. Because you're going to make it so hard for Aeroyak to destroy any of these creatures because they're all kind of elusive at this point. So you'd have to kill the Shadowsmith first, which is obviously also elusive. Kind of take it 2 fights unless you've got a way doing as much damage to it. It's a really tricky puzzle that Aeroyak's got to unravel.
Okay, Aeroyak's back. I am back. Is there a way to stop much improved Noor off the subway?
I think possibly not, unfortunately. I'm racking my brains here. Pandemonium, we've already... Could Pandemonium have been redrawn, actually, or has it been purged? Pandemonium has not been purged. That could be a way out of this. If it's there.
That could take him down.
Pandemonium... The trouble is it'd be mutual, so it would also put Aeroyak in a bit of a difficult situation. But I think that might be enough to knock Jfilipeg off, potentially. But then, no, because you could get 2 from the Gambling Den, Reap with the Dark Minions to get to 3. You need to do some fighting too, but I think that could be the one thing that kind of gets you out of this pickle.
The connection issues are preventing us from finding out so far.
Yeah, they are. Let's just... I think we got some... apparent according to Aeroyak, it crashed, and now he's struggling to find the match again. I think we're just trying to remedy this briefly. But yeah, anyone in the chat, does anyone have any theories in the chat about what they may do in this situation? I'm always happy to hear them. But yeah, I think Pandemonium might be the only thing that could give us a chance of safety here. If you can then kind of like use the Mutagenic Serum, do a bunch of fighting, something I'm always happy to see.
Wait, do you have this match link either? Because I can't find it. I joined through just finding it on.
I don't know. I don't want to like click off of this in case we lose the game. I want to kind of keep it here.
This was not what we wanted for the first ever stream.
But yeah, I think we're kind of like chatting about what we would do now, what we're gonna do here. Yeah, the 2 players are having a chat on Discord about how to proceed. We'll kind of keep you updated once we have more information on this.
Okay, Muffins has a possible suggestion. Let's see if I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, Kidman saying he doesn't think Pandemonium would seem enough. I think with the Pandemonium, you need to also do a lot of fighting. So you need to definitely kill that Shadowsmith at this point. Then kind of like take out, as much as it pains me to say it, stuff like the Mutant Cutpurses. And you could potentially get it low enough down where you can't get that Obsidian Forge off, but it's pretty difficult.
I don't know how to resolve this.
Yeah, we're currently Aeroyak is having some trouble finding the match again to reconnect. And it is saying the match is unavailable. It's difficult here though because Aeroyak is saying that he has some answers in his hand.
I think he could, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely. So, it's not. It definitely. This game definitely wasn't kind of out of the range of possibility of either player winning. I'm gonna probably leave this to the KFPL judges to decide. I'm sure someone is being contacted, but if not, um, I'll see if anyone is being contacted. Yeah, yeah. If you can look into that for us, Callum, that'd
I
be
have
ideal.
suggested getting a judge. I can't think of a way to resolve this.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously always a difficult always a difficult one because we as any player you always want to place your outs, and you're always, especially with this kind of thing where you've got stuff like demo bots that you can reap with. You've got loads of cards that can kind of change what's in your hand for Aeroyak. It's hard to say whether he maybe would have drawn the thing that he needed and could have found a solution. Um, yeah. So I think it's always worth we want to make sure that we always say that we want this to be like the premier Keyforge event. We want this to be the best it can be, and as a result, we want it to always give players the opportunity to talk to judges, have people make these decisions like you would in a standard in-person tournament. Um, and as a
Nope,
result,
that's not going to help.
and see, and now I'm. Oh, so you should try with a different login there as well.
I think we're getting a concession.
Oh, okay. I'll wait. But yeah, so I think this is a thing that everyone at the KFPL, I think it kind of integrity and making sure that this is the kind of the premier tournament thing that we want is really important for us. It does look like we may be getting a concession. I don't want to just kind of confirm that until we kind of had a definite confirmation of that. Obviously, this is a really unfortunate thing to happen. You want to see
Want to see it get played out, really?
yeah, you want to see get play. You want to see both players be able to play everything they can do and try and find the solutions. But sometimes these things do happen. It's one of the difficulties of kind of playing in online tournaments and playing in this forum is that sometimes you do get issues like this, and there aren't always ideal solutions to it.
The effervescent takes him down to a certain amount.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is that you would have maybe seen you could have seen a pandemonium and a mark of this, which could have been a solution actually. Say mark this into shadows or untamed, and that could have
So
stopped Jfilipeg from forging potentially.
does take yeah.
I think it would have been difficult for Aeroyak, but I think I can definitely understand what he's saying about him having ways out of it. I don't think this game was over. I think he was in a tricky situation, 100%. But I think there was definitely a chance for him to kind of pull out of this, or at least extend the game at the very least. Okay. So unfortunately, I think Aeroyak has agreed to concede. So we'll be moving on to the second game with Jfilipeg taking the first.
Is he back now?
Oh, has he? I think Aeroyak may have been able to reconnect. Jfilipeg has left.
Jfilipeg has left.
Um,
God damn it!
hang on, Aeroyak is back in the game. Can you reconnect Jfil?
It's chaos.
Chaos indeed.
This is a nightmare.
This is indeed, yeah.
It's a little bit ironic. We were both very worried about technical difficulties buggering up our first ever streamed game.
Oh yeah,
But,
yeah. We were worried. Oh, it appears not because Jfilipeg has just joined, but he's seemed to have joined as a spectator, and from what I can see, his whole board has disappeared, which is
yeah, and his whole thing's gone now. So Aeroyak is now playing against no one.
yeah.
Gotta think that's now bugged beyond repair.
I think so. Yeah.
Aeroyak did concede.
And yeah, we are seeing in the edge. I feel like we made 2 Ember from the gambling den.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to finish that off. Anyway,
okay, I think we're drawing a line under this and moving on to the next game.
Which is a shame because it was excellent key forge from both players at various points.
It really was, yeah, a really back and forth game. I think that getting the ends jar so early definitely kind of like put a bit of a dampener on Aeroyak. I think would have been interesting to see the game without that. But obviously that's kind of what ends jar does, and very good play from Jfilipeg though. Some really interesting combos we've seen from both players that I wouldn't have expected. I think that's kind of a big part of what we watch, the KFPL.
Absolutely. High level key forge you don't see otherwise.
Exactly. Right. So let's join the game as a spectator.
So we'll see if Aeroyak switches it up, plays a different deck.
Mm-hmm. Someone plays one of his other double Valjerico decks.
Well, the other one.
And I think what will we be seeing Countess Bentactwiz Holmes from Jfilipeg as well. It's his deck. I said deck I'm very interested in seeing and seeing how it plays. As I said, I feel like I'm missing something with this deck, and I'm really, really excited to be proved wrong and be like, oh, that's what it does.
I think we should. I'm going to copy the game link and I'm going to put it in a Word document.
It's very sensible, yeah.
Just in case.
That's very sensible, yeah. Team Screech Bottom, innovative solutions.
That makes it sound like a consultancy company.
Hey, if you need to consult us about random Keyforge chat, feel free to come talk to us. We'll do it. We'll talk about any
words
games.
Words of the day. I don't.
If anyone's not seen a Screech Bomb video before, we often have a word of the day. Haven't chosen one yet, but one may come to us. Who knows?
Something about connections and shenanigans.
Shenanigans is a good word. It's one of my favorite words. And we are seeing Aeroyak sticking with the same deck.
And we'll see Countess Bentactwiz Holmes.
But
turn one
Valjerico again into.
I suppose there are two of them.
There are two of them. Yeah, I mean it's not impossible.
We also got the one that doesn't have 4 damage pips on, so he gets to.
It's just to say, and uses the grasping vines, but decides not to return that obsidian forge to hand. I wonder why.
With the 2 draws and the pip on it.
You see Mark of Dis into Untamed. God, I think that's a strong play there. Unlikely to have another good Untamed turn in him is Jfilipeg, especially with that Mermook being killed. Can reap with the Dew Fairy for a couple, but not the best play you'll ever see. And yeah, we see Bramble coming down. Infernus. Gonna purge. I think that Grasping Vines and
yeah, and the
maybe
Curiosity as well.
Curiosity. Yeah, definitely.
Because you have a lot of logo scientists.
You do indeed. Oh yes, Curiosity is the scientist one, not the elusive one. I always get them mixed up. We are going to see Untamed from Jfilipeg plays a big twig.
Didn't use the Obsidian Forge to stir Engraven Infernus, which is interesting.
No.
So not the worst Untamed turn from following a Mark of Dis.
I guess just valuing kind of having the Infernus on the board, really, maybe, and thinking you can reap with it, do some stuff like that. I can see that. I can see that. We're going to play Logos from Aeroyak here. Plays another Captain of Hal Jericho and puts all 4 damage pimps on the big twig. Diametric Charge to destroy that Dew Fairy. Eclectic Inquiry to archive a couple. And the Adaptoid coming down as well.
Putting Jericho back in the middle.
And we see the Gateway, though. Oof. Shula's going to steal one.
It's going to make Jfilipeg lose 3 Ember. Probably worth it.
Yeah, I think definitely with both Jerichos on the board there. But we are going to see Lay of the Land come out. Dealing a damage to the Pit Demon. Obviously, looking at the top 3 cards, choosing your favourite, putting it on top.
Such a strong card and like kind of underrating it as well.
No, it's a nice one, especially just like that just draw a card effect as well. You know, I've done it before where I just kind of like only had 1 card on top of the deck. You just get to pick up that top card, and it's pretty nice. I'm going to see there's a Lyco Alien with Skirmish Fight. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Put 1 card in your hand and 1 card on the bottom of your deck. Detention Coil on that Shula. It's a big creature. Happy not to be able to do that. To have that do any fighting.
And pretty good response to the Gateway to this.
Yeah. When you can immediately put down 5 more creatures, yeah, you're usually pretty chuffed to be able to do that. And on to check for Aeroyak as well. Can be knocked off by the Pit Demon, but probably not going to want to play another Dis turn if you're Jfilipeg straight after the first.
But he's not exactly short of Ember control.
He is not. You've got to think he's got some way of knocking Aeroyak off the check. But only 5 cards in hand, to be fair. But we are going to do the Shadows. And an Oubliette on a Teleport Chief Tink. An Umbra. Dodger. And can't knock him off the check. And that's
no Nerve Blast.
First blood to Aeroyak once again.
And he's going to get a decent use out of the Starlines board, probably.
Yeah, not the best use because Commander Chan, you've got no out of house friendly creatures similar with Teleport Chief Tink. But
you can Scout Pete to look at the top card, and then you can use the Alien to get that card and filter it some more.
Indeed, you can. And Aeroyak just taking a bit of a think though, maybe thinking about going for a different house. I mean, I think we've kind of seen a bit of all the houses here. We are going to see Star Alliance again. Reaps with Scout Pete to discard a Soul Fiddle. Yes, I think everyone will always.
Fair.
Soul Fiddle, generally one of the worst cards in the game. I think it's safe to say.
It's a shame. I can see how it could be good, but it's not.
It's just if it was Omni, I could fully see it being.
It could totally be Omni, and it would be fine.
Yeah, and we see a nice just bit of a Reap and Pierce Secura Droid as well come down next to that Lyco Alien.
Yeah, so he gets 3 Ember, and he filters his deck a lot.
Indeed, he does.
Between the Scout Pete's and the Alien.
Yeah. Yeah, already down to 8 cards for Aeroyak. You know, I think this kind of really shows you what the effect like speed can have on it when we see
19 from Jfilipeg.
Obviously, you had to play that Gateway Dis early. You know.
Yeah, it was a good shout.
But Jfilipeg thinking about this a bit here. We'll get the Snudge, Pit Demon to steal 1, Reaps with the Shula. And that's all she wrote. Oh, with the Drumble as well.
Not a great turn.
Really not, no.
Could see Star Alliance again.
Could do.
Pretty easily.
Could do, definitely, yeah. I mean, you know, that Lyco Alien Scout Pete combo is a real nice one. Be able to get rid of something like the Snudge. I'd be pretty happy to see the back of. And we are going to see that Novi Dynamo chucked in the bin. Lyco Alien fighting the Pit Demon. Fair enough. Drawing something. Not sure what. I plays the Hapless Cadet as well.
Yeah, I think just getting more creatures on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? You're going to have to deal with this.
And kind of protecting himself against that second gateway too. It's been like, you can cure all my creatures, but you're going to have to lose 3 of your Ember, which, it's not the easiest to get.
It's looking pretty bad for Jfilipeg.
It really is, yeah. Aeroyak just kind of like marshalling him. And I think, like I said, Jfilipeg's deck's such low speed, always going to be tough playing against a deck as fast as Aeroyak's.
Yeah, and that early gateway.
Indeed, yeah.
I'll tell you this, the difference in speed is 20.5.
You see the
from
logos?
-3.
Plays the FS in principle.
Reasonable. Pays him 1 for the mutagenic serum, but I think that's a reasonable shout.
Indeed it is.
Pays him 1 for the Fission Bloom. Less keen on that move, but potentially justifiable.
Just wants to get that logos out.
Has he found gateway number 2?
If he has, though, it's still that Hapless Cadet. I suppose, unless you snudge away the Hapless Cadet.
Could do it, but it's gone untamed, so let's see what we've got here.
Yep, got the Ancient Bear. Got the Vigor, probably going to hit that Dodger. Get some nice Ember from that, which it does.
And let you steal things later. But that is it. So you can now definitely hit the gateway next turn with the Nepenthe Seed.
You can, yes.
So I've got to think we try and have a big turn from Aeroyak here where they use as much of the board as possible.
One thing I could maybe, if you think the Gateway Dis is coming, you could maybe do a Dis turn, use the Mutagenic Serums, use a lot of your creatures, and then use an Obsidian Forge.
No, actually, that's not a bad idea. Would get the key off. It does wipe your board. I think you want to make...
You've got 4 mutants on the board there. That's kind of like 4 things you can reap or fight with. I think maybe fight with a Lyco Alien into, say, the Dodger or the Snudge. Use the Odd Clawed to steal 1, that kind of thing. We obviously the Fission Bloom. Plays the Umbrabot. Gonna take out that Drumble.
Bold with the Arise still knocking about.
Because he's a groupthink tank coming down. Odd Claw to steal 1. Reaps with the Infomorph. And what is he going to do with this Damabot? He's going to fight just to get that steal off, knock Jfilipeg off the check.
Yes. Okay, now if he wants the wipe, he has to eat the 3 from the Hapless Cadet.
He does indeed. Seeing a brief wait from Jfilipeg.
Muffin's thinking that the game may have already got... Jfilipeg wanted to see the discard pile before the reshuffle. Now can't.
Right, okay, I see. That's why you kind of wanted him to wait before he clicked end turn.
Yeah, unfortunately not quite quick enough with that.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I've never thought of that, actually. I've never thought of that being a thing but yeah, no, definitely. I think
an attempt from Aeroyak to accommodate this.
Which was good, I could say. A kind of excellent sportsmanship from both players. And I guess kind of knowing what's in the discard pile, if you're Jfilipeg, you can work out what's in his hand by extension. And
it's also the sort of mistake that the sort of thing that wouldn't happen in IRL play.
It's true. I think the only thing is in IRL play, this would be much harder to do because you wouldn't also be able to look at their Archon card during the game. So, I can understand wanting to kind of get that last look at the discard pile before it's shuffled in, but if we're in IRL play, we also wouldn't be able to do this too. So it's kind of I'm going to see a Reap with the Shula, a Reap with the Snudge. So maybe returning the Fission Bloom to hand here. Which we do see, yeah. I think we maybe see the If we see the Gateway
That's particularly
here,
brutal with the Customs Office.
We are going to see the Gateway and Jfilipeg taking himself off of check.
But hits very nice Arise.
Can't quite get him back on to check, though. with what's in hand. Gets that charrette down though.
But very problematic with 4 disc creatures, 5 disc creatures.
Oh, the Terror
and a hit
does
with
get
the
him onto
Terror.
check. There we go.
So nice. Nicely done. And that disc board is a problem.
It really is,
for
yeah.
Aeroyak, because the creature control is not good.
It really isn't, and that's the thing that Aeroyak, as we've said before, is a problem kind of across all those decks. Is that if someone else gets a big board, not got a great way of dealing with it.
And this is what I was talking about in the deck chat, right? That just putting 5 creatures down on the board when your opponent doesn't have any is sometimes enough to do some shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, you sometimes forget quite how big disc creatures are in Kota. You know, like most disc creatures are like 5 power in Kota, which is it's hard to get rid of for a lot of decks. You know, like trying to get rid of like a Shula, a Terra, a Pit Demon.
Yeah, and it seems like there's no real reason for Shula or the Terror to be 5, or Pit Demon, for God's sake, to be 5 power. And yeah, I've got
some chat here from Kidman saying Snudge can lock. So what do you mean by that?
He's just gonna start bouncing all of his creatures.
Oh, what? Just keep returning Maleficorn?
Yeah, like that Maleficorn's gonna go back to hand.
Very true. Yeah.
So it becomes harder and harder to deal with that. You can't play any creatures.
Oh, you just keep returning artifacts as well. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah. And with the customs office too, this is the kind of like little synergies that I wasn't thinking of that become really difficult to deal with, and like
like I just missed the Snudge customs office combo.
Yeah, it's stuff like this that I kind of like when I was talking about it in the deck chat. I'm like, it seems really slow, but yeah, these are some really brutal combos to have to deal with.
Jfilipeg's going to think it through. Interesting, Aeroyak choosing not to Obsidian Forge and then Stir Engrave the Infernus.
No, sure. I think maybe wanting to keep the Ember on the Infernus after the Pandemonium is the only thing I can think. But yeah, that does seem a strange one.
I mean, I just don't think that extra Ember on Pandemonium is going to make that much of a difference.
I also just think maybe he's just thinking I'm probably not going to be playing another disc turn anytime soon, really.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I mean, you've got to think probably Star Alliance maybe coming around the bend. Oh, I don't know, maybe not. Actually, we'll see. It's an interesting one, and Jfilipeg, I think he presumably trying to decide whether or not he wants to just keep using this, but maybe whatever he's got in his hand isn't kind of what he really wants. And we are going to see shadows, yeah, so we're going to play out some cards from his hand, try and draw it to subs, get to the Nerve Blast, the Pawn Sacrifice. I think maybe the Terror or Shula would be hit here, probably not needing them as much as the rest.
Probably Shula with the play effect.
Mm-hmm.
I was just interesting he went shadows instead of the the grim disc turn that could have happened there.
I can see it because it's the thing of just kind of wanting to kind of like get things out of your hand, get kind of like more things. You know, we've seen some discs come out, but there's still quite a lot of discs left in Jfilipeg's deck that you can draw into, and he's just thinking, well, I can get myself in check either way, and I just rather get better disc turns for the future. And we are gonna see FS Principle replace the Fission Bloom, paying Jfilipeg another Ember due to the customer's office.
No, he tossed it.
Oh, he tossed it, did he? Okay, apologies. And now we see the disc. We see the Mind Barb to discard the Novi Dynamo from Aeroyak's hand. Pit Demon to steal one.
Snudge. Yeah, and I think we're just going to get us... Now we're going to start to get a kind of lockout.
Yeah, I mean, I can see maybe that Adaptoid being returned here just to kind of like gum up the hand of Aeroyak.
Also, it's Logos, and he just went Logos, so we might not want to do it again.
One would assume not, no. And yeah, we do see Adaptoid going straight back, and then I imagine probably just going to get definitely a Reap from the Charrette, maybe fight the Infernus with the Shooter, but no, it just goes to the Reap, doesn't want to give him a chance to Stir Engrave it. And Jfilipeg once again going to check. And turn 11, it is 1 key to 0. And Aeroyak going to Star Alliance. Captain Valerico, here we go.
Oof, with the 4 pips.
Yep, gonna just kill that charette straight out.
Fully kill charette.
Yep, and if you can play another, if it's another Captain Valerico. Now, if you can get the second Captain Valerico into the middle as well.
So yeah, he gets a plays the Adaptoid off the first Valerico.
I think
does he have another Star Alliance creature?
He does. So we can get another Valerico trigger.
Ooh.
That is beautiful.
Now this is pod racing.
This is indeed pod racing. And we're going to see Lay of the Land.
Havakadi wants to play.
I think we may be seeing one here with a Lay of the Land because...
we may indeed. He's going to draw something.
He's drawing something. That is a huge play from Aeroyak. And what are we going to see coming out of his hand here? Mark of Dis as well.
Nice. Just puts him... Chooses to kill the Snudge, which I guess.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Fair enough.
I got to think he must have gotten that off the Lay of the Land then, because otherwise you would have presumably say, like, hit the Mark of Dis on the charette, for example, and then kind of split around the damage and just forced Jfilipeg into another Dis turn.
Okay, Jfilipeg gets the key, but does he have an answer for this board? Long Fuse Mines won't really cut it.
Not quite. It would kill that Infernus, but that's about it.
Although you've got some other direct damage with the Nerve Blast and the Relentless Whispers.
You do indeed, yeah.
But strong... Aeroyak coming back swinging.
Yeah, huge turn there from Aeroyak. And I think that, we're starting to see Jfilipeg really clawing his way back into that game, and that really has...
feels like a gateway.
Back. Oh!
And there it is.
No!
Just goes to check.
You hate to see it. You really do.
I mean, this is what we're talking about. Like, double gateway, Arise, 18 creature control is going to get you through a lot of games.
Yeah, but Jfilipeg chained 4 chains now here. Aeroyak, I think Aeroyak's got some ways knocking Jfilipeg back off check here, I think. So
yeah, the deck's not lacking in Ember control.
We've still got another Infernus that's knocking around somewhere. As we see the Drumble come onto the board, and we are going to see Display. I think we're going to see an Infernus coming out here. Break Key instead first, just for the Ember. Discuss Soul Fiddle. There's the Infernus. Here we go. And I've got to think one thing with Ember Pip on, and then maybe I would have hit Gateway there, to be honest. I don't think I would have gone necessarily for both Ember Pips. I would have probably hit a Gateway just to, but he's going to archive a Valerico too with the Stirring Grave.
Reasonable. Goes to check on 7. And the Drumble's on the board. Jfilipeg chose not to hold that on the Dis turn.
Yeah.
So I think it's free to go to 7 in a way you wouldn't have done otherwise.
Definitely. We've already seen the Arise played, obviously, so that's not going to cut the mustard. We do have the Bait and Switch, which I don't believe we've seen yet. Could be enough to knock Aeroyak off the check if that is available. But other than that, I think that's the only way we'd see that happen. I think we've seen 2 Nerve Blasts already. So the Bait and Switch would be the only way to stop this key remaining in Jfilipeg's deck.
Well, there's a 3rd Nerve Blast.
There is, but that would only take 1 Ember.
And a Relentless Whispers.
The Relentless Whispers. I suppose if he hit his own Drumble,
he's Nerve Blasts the Infernus and then Relentless Whispers it.
True.
But there's 4 cards left on decks. We don't always got knocking about.
We do not. I see. Have any of them been purged? That's a good question. They have not. Okay.
Very back and forth game. It's been some.
Really is, yeah. Interesting here. We've seen a lot of Untamed cards purged for Jfilipeg as well.
Yeah, 4 out of 6. Aeroyak's been hitting the pips mostly, which I think is fine.
Yeah,
most of the time. But you probably could have afforded to do 1 here or there to take out something. Like an Arise, like a Gateway.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think like especially the last Infernus, you could have stood to just kind of hit one pips, knock him off the check, and then definitely hit and can you use the Obsidian Forge just to destroy it? Doesn't destroy any of
Yeah,
his own
just take it
creatures.
out. But key.
Aeroyak does
Key comes
forge his second key. He's
next to the key
inching.
too.
And I think he's got that Val Jericho, and he's going to just,
Boom,
clear the
boom, boom,
board.
boom.
Machine Gun Jericho with those 4 damage pips.
So I started blasting.
He did indeed start blasting as he lay of the
It's so,
land.
it's so ridiculous to see.
It is, yeah.
And yet the efficiency coming through.
And you gotta hope he's got at least one Star Alliance creature to get the effect of Val Jericho. Let's see if he does. We do see
does have one.
Yeah, just gonna knock that Ember off the Val Jericho with that damage pit, but he's gonna allow him to play a card out of house. What will we see? Sees the Damobot. I'm gonna play the Lyco Alien.
Building up that efficiency board again.
Yep.
Because that mutagenic serum is still on the board.
And
so
both gateways in the discard pile too, as well. So
he's actually going to get some use out of this, hopefully.
Yeah, feeling much safer.
Potentially go big. Longfuse Mines again doesn't quite cut it.
No, has kind of strategically kept stuff like the Damobot on the end, not going to get hit by those Longfuse Mines. Longfuse Mines, obviously, deals each enemy creature not on a flank.
There's an interesting card I'm excited about in Dark Tidings that's basically an action, and it's like the one of the choose cards, where it's like deal 3 to each flank creature, or deal 3 to each non-flank creature. I was like, that's fun.
That is cool, yeah, I like that, that's very good. You're going to see Untamed from Jfilipeg. There's the Dust Pixie. Discards a Halicore, discards a Witch of the Eye. I suppose just not want it to give him too many targets to fight and to get those alien triggers.
I think that's why.
Very, very, very sensible. I think, yeah, not going to get much benefit from the Halicore or Witch of the Eye, really.
Yeah, I can see Halicore, I can understand. The Witch of the Eye, I mean, yeah, there's almost no way it lives, to be fair.
No, there's definitely not. We're going to see
that. Val Jericho back in the middle.
Now, if we got the second Infernus, then we could see this Dust Pixie being purged, and that is big.
Yep. Diametric charge off the Jericho.
Histricog. Brabble to lose one.
Does he have something else?
Mutagenic Serum.
Yep. So he's just going to reap.
But with that Damobot, he might be able to discard and draw something potentially to get that Infernus that he's looking for. Discard to Commander Chan. Plays Malekor, but
can't take Jfilipeg off check, but goes to 7. And with the board size that he has, and there's the bait and switch.
There it is. Longfuse Mines.
Yep, so now has, I think, the Relentless Whispers.
Oh, but steals 1 Ember. With the Damobot. Did Jfilipeg know that was going to happen? I got to think he did. We've seen the Relentless Whispers yet. I don't think we have.
No, I don't think we have.
So I think Jfilipeg was cognizant of that, but yeah, we
there was a big pause there where I was like,
yeah, where I was like, oh no, this could have been a big oversight. We see the Relentless Whispers taking out that Val Jericho too, putting both players on 4 here. Best card in the game.
Shadow Stuff and an Umbra. This is close. This is very close.
It is, but I mean, you've got that Star Alliance. You've got the fight in the Star Alliance.
3 fights in the Shadow Stuff now, but I think you want to try and burst.
You do, yeah.
You want to, given he's just taken that big Shadows turn, a bunch of cards that steal went in there.
You've got the Dust Pixie in the discard. You've got an Infernus kind of like knocking around somewhere in Aeroyak's deck. He's got potentially take 3 Ember off of Jfilipeg at this point. You're going to see Star Alliance though. Here we go. Scout Heat going to fight the Shadow Self. And is the Sacred Alien going to take it out? Add something to his hand. And I got to think the Lyco Alien going to destroy that Umbra as well. Plays the Val Jericho, but far from the middle here. It's going to be a real struggle to get it. Oh, Detention Coil on the Umbra, though. Stop that Fight Steal effect.
Gotta get to check here.
And I think he's going to do that with that Lyco Alien, just doing a reap rather than fighting. And he does do that.
Okay.
6 for Aeroyak.
So, options for
going to 6. Gateway to Dis. Shula steal one.
Oh, is that enough? It could be enough. He's got
Logos.
logos. He's got the
There's
effervescent.
some principle.
It
Oh,
continues. Oh,
no.
this is tense. I can't be dealing with this. My
Oh.
nerves.
Collecting inquiry. Right. And
Can
you.
you get back to check though? This is the thing.
It's a question, isn't it? Really. I'm gonna play an Umbrabot down, get damage on that Shula, and
No, so the initiative goes to Jfilipeg, who I think with Untamed probably can get to check.
You say that though, we've seen the Dust Pixies already gone. I don't really think we've seen a lot of Untamed kind of Ember cards be purged as well. I don't think he can can get to check with
This is
Untamed.
true. The purges have happened.
He can't. No, here we go. So
Okay. God, I can't. I'm tense. I don't
yeah,
know about you guys. I am on the edge of my seat here.
this is like a models camping trip. It's pretty intense.
Oh dear Lord. Okay, you're banned from puns. I'm sorry. No more. Okay. Back to Aeroyak.
And we
Going
see
dis.
dis. I've got to think if he's going dis, we've got to see the Infernus here, and we do. Hitting
Boom.
that
Yeah.
Dust Pixie takes Jfilipeg to 0 Ember. Big move.
Dust Pixie and Relentless Whispers, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Relentless Whispers. Yeah, definitely.
Stirring Grave, something, probably a Val based on past experiences. Yep.
Yep. Makes sense.
Takes the damage pip one.
Yeah. Machine
I guess,
gun
yeah, we talked about creature control a lot.
Plays the Pandemonium.
That's going to take him well down as well, unless he's got something else I'm not seeing.
And I think just maybe wanting to get the Ember off of it. But yeah, he's going to put that, plays the Break Key.
Okay, still no check. They're both sort of kind of burned out of answers.
And I guess with the Pandemonium, he wasn't getting us to check otherwise, so I can kind of see it, but
yeah, I mean that Witch of the Eye lives, but there's only a Halacore left in the discard pile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing.
I guess you could take an Untamed turn and get back either a Relentless Whispers or a Bait and Switch.
Well, Relentless Whispers has been purged,
so that ain't coming back either.
So it'd be a Nerve Blast or a Bait and Switch. Blast. Yeah, I mean, Bait and Switch less useful right now, but yeah, could be a strong one to get steal a couple of Ember. And we are going to see the Untamed. Reaps with the Mamook. Can't really do much else because if you fought that Mamook into anything, it would die and you would give Aeroyak the game. Plays the Jfairy. Assume we're going to see a Witch of the Eye reap here. I think, yeah, Bait and Switch probably would be the play, I think. But a lot of shadows in the discard. Are you unlikely I used to be wanting to play another Shadows turn in the near future?
Maybe a Gateway?
Maybe, but you can't play Gateway right now because if you play a Gateway, you're giving that Ember back to Aeroyak. Unless you've got an Arise, maybe, too. You can get that Shula back. But that still wouldn't be enough. You'd be on 6 there. Drumble, if you have it, could do that with a Gateway. That's the only thing I can think would be make it worth bringing back a Gateway. And returns the Bait and Switch. There we go.
Okay.
We go again.
To Aeroyak.
Logos could be good here. Use that Groupthink tank to take out Discards an Ancient Bear to take out a Mamook and a Jfairy.
It's discarding a lot of creatures here, I noticed.
Maybe just use the Umbrabot to fight the Witch of the Eye. I could see, but again, it's that worry of the Drumble.
If you've got a damage pit floating around.
Logos coming out here. Here we go.
Pixels Archives.
I'm gonna make
fights the Witch of the Eye.
I think
now
we'll
group Groupthink tank.
Jigs. And yeah, there we go. Takes out the 2 creatures. Goes to 7. Discards the Fission Bloom. Doesn't want to give him Ember with the Customs Office. Odd Claude coming down. Infomorph. Draws a card. Adaptoid.
So we know the Bait and Switch will take him off check here.
Ooh, but Novu Dynamo.
Sneaky check.
Yeah, well, he's on check either way. Bait and Switch still on check though, even with the Bait and Switch. Nerve Blast takes him off check.
Nerve Blast as well.
Jfilipeg on 5. Can he get to 6?
Staying on 5 is a problem as well because of Odd Claude.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can just see a nicer logo stone here. To be honest, Odd Claude, Reap a bunch.
Yep. Maybe get an Adaptoid fight.
Yep, gotta hope so.
Because if you got 2, yeah, we'll see. It's clearly thinking about something.
Down to the wire here.
We are 18 turns into this, and it's been back and forth the whole time.
Cut and thrust. Discards the
Dodger. Okay. Ooh, no more Logos cards.
No.
So no Novu Dynamo.
Not.
That could have just been enough.
Could have been. Let's see what we get here then. We have drawn back around again, so we do have stuff like those Infernuses could be coming back around. But running out of pips to hit in Jfilipeg's discard pile, if he does want to do that.
Yeah, very little left. Because he's not doing his own, I suppose.
The cupboard is
Except
there.
no, he can't because he's just reshuffled too.
He has, yeah. We're going to see Dis.
He's going Dis. God, I think this has to be pretty good.
Stirring Grave. The only thing he has is that Novu Dynamo. Archives it. Discuss the Soul Fiddle. Poor Soul Fiddle. Mark of Dis.
Mark of Dis.
If he stays on 6 here, I don't think there's anything in Dis short of being able to destroy that Shula and arise it. Oh, and his a Shaffles is the only other thing.
Shaffles will do it. Shaffles and a Reap. What's he got? Drumble won't do it because you're only on 6.
You're only on 6.
The tension.
You could cut the tension with a spoon.
No Drumble.
Does he? Shaffles would be the only thing that could do it. That or fighting the Shula into something and arising it. Charette. Charette is another thing they could do.
You're just toying with him. Just play the turn. This is a nightmare.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're killing us. I know they're having fun, but you're killing us. Oh, my God. Just running down the available answers here.
My only thought is, though, would it not have made sense to maybe fight with the Infernus and then...
There's the Charette.
Then Stirring Grave it? I don't know.
I think it might have done. He's gone to 6 now with the Reap. That's the thing.
He has, yeah. Pit Demon. Odd Claude.
Odd Claude steals with Odd, so you would need something else.
Yeah, if you could. Yeah, nothing you can fight with Adaptoid unless you've got 2 to put some armor on it too. The Terror. It's like Dis may not have been the house you wanted to.
Yeah, this Mark of Dis has really backfired.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Arise is still knocking about.
Yeah, both gateways gone though, so kind of harder to actually get all of these creatures into the discard pile to use that Arise, but you know, there's some stuff there. I mean, Logos could work here. Let's be clear. Like, it's, you know, getting rid of that Charette, getting rid of that Shula, but the problem is, with that Arise knocking around, even if you get rid of all those things, they might just be coming straight back.
Plays the Drumble. Does not hold the Drumble. But so he had 4 discards in hand.
We are going to see
Logos.
Which does give the Adaptoid something to an effervescent principle.
So can he now get to check?
Odd Claude's going to steal one.
Steals one with the Odd Claude after the effervescent.
Yeah. The trouble is, you've got to think that Jfilipeg's drawn back round to Arise, unless he's very unlucky and it's in the last 2 cards.
Yeah, so he's probably got this Arise and he's ready to go big on it. We're going to get a steal from the Adaptoid.
And Groupthink Tank.
That was big, but I think he's going to get Arised. Drops the Novu Dynamo.
Does indeed.
So we might now get...
Jfilipeg has this Arise.
It's the odds are so low that he doesn't. There's 2 cards left.
There is, yeah. Does he have it? Turn 20 of this nail-biting game.
Second game that's been like this. He has gone
to the Dis.
He's going to fight. This is an Arise play.
Yeah.
Fights. Everything comes back. Gets a hit. Gets a steal with the Shula. Gets a Terror hit with the Drumble.
That's brutal. But isn't going to get him onto check, though, is the thing.
Oh, has this gone wrong? Because if he hits with the Novu Dynamo here, then he's... Oh, Shackles. Never mind. But never mind.
Must be then keeping that Drumble in hand.
Yeah, held it. Because you have to get rid of the Shackles. You can't go big.
Yeah, this is...
Oh my God.
I take back everything I said about this deck. This deck's incredible.
I told you. I was like, you were like, oh, this is not very good. I was like, no, that Arise is going to be pretty
Yeah,
good.
but you did it in the way where you were like, I don't know, maybe it's gonna do some things, rather than being like, it's.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
No, your exact words were, "This is just some like standard Kota stuff. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "No,
You say
this
that like
is."
you say that like standard Kota stuff at this level is not incredibly good. What I mean, it's some standard Kota stuff, like 79 sass.
This isn't
Where
standard.
is
How is this
the
standard?
KFPL are pointing out there is no clock on this game. There was supposed to be a clock on this game. How long have we been playing this game?
I don't know. I've lost track of time, but I don't want to keep track of time anymore.
Someone's supposed to be keeping track of time.
Yeah, well, it's not me.
Hold on, let me see if I can do something here.
Oh god, Purge's Longfuse Mines and the Nerve Blast. Fights.
Goes to 8, but now it's Drumble time,
Drumble
and he's gonna reap out 5 times. We've got to go back to check.
He is, yeah. The Shaffles as well. Is going to take 1 off too. Or is the Shaffles end of your turn? Oh, okay, no. Ignore me.
But he's going to get Drumbled.
He is going to get Drumbled, yeah, that's true.
And Jfilipeg might be able to just reap out.
Might indeed.
I'm not sure how long this has been going on for.
No. Is there anything else in Aeroyak's deck that could help?
There's an Infernus's that could help, but he's really running out of pips on both sides.
There's a Hapless Cadet, but I don't think he's got any way of destroying it in-house unless he Jericho machine guns.
I mean, we know he's got the machine gun Jericho.
So that could be the one way that he could knock Jfilipeg off check if he does just reap for 5 with the Drumble. Shulo's going to fight the Maleficon.
Yeah, because that's a big source of your damage pips, right?
Reaps with the Shaffles, reaps with the Snudge, returns the Terror.
Oh, and he's going to Drumble and then Terror. That's big. That takes him to 7.
It does, yeah.
That is nicely done.
Okay, I think Jericho Machine Gun is the only Jericho Machine Gun and Hapless Cadet just brutally murdering her own Hapless Cadet could be the only way that Aeroyak stays in this game.
It's been an absolute knockdown, drag-out fight. How long have they both been on key 2?
A while. Novu Dynamo is going to discard Umbra to gain an Ember. I gotta think this is a deciding turn here. If Aeroyak can knock Jfilipeg off check and get his Ember back, I don't think Jfilipeg has a way then of stopping Aeroyak. Star Alliance is the play.
He's picked up Machine Gun Val.
Hapless
Cadet.
Oh, poor kid.
It's Machine Gun Val.
Oh god, the humanity. He was 2 days from retirement.
Can he now hit the Drumble? Does he have another damage pip?
Secure a droid.
Tink.
Tink.
Val's in the middle.
Pandemonium.
Oh my god. It's chaos. This is awful. Because if he can hit Pandemonium and then pop the Drumble with some other card, he can't. They're both on 0.
Oh my god.
This is ridiculous. Jupiter has now arrived.
Jupiter has, yeah.
So perhaps call time on these ridiculous shenanigans.
I don't want this game to end. I want it to go on forever.
But the rules are the rules, so it has reached time.
No, I don't want it to be time. I don't want it to be bedtime yet. I mean,
just ridiculousness all around.
Yeah. just want to see this game. I just want this game I want it to carry on. I want it to carry on forever. I don't want this game to stop ever. I mean, time to be. We will do 2 full turns. Okay.
2 full turns. Oh, this could be interesting.
I mean, I
got the Drumble.
we're just gonna let this conversation be talked through by the people directly involved in the game.
So we've had a few ridiculous games so far in this, and frankly, this deck has done ridiculous things that I not remotely think it does. It's been a very evenly matched matchup, right, between a very fast deck and a very slow deck.
Yeah, it really yeah. I mean, you look at like Jfilipeg's deck, and as we said in the chat, this is minus 3.5 speed. This is minus negative speed, and yeah, this is just an incredible game. I love Keyforge. It's so cool.
It's been ridiculous. Just some real hot nonsense.
Indeed, it has. Yeah. Yeah, and this is why timers are important to stop kind of kerfuffles like this occurring. Kerfuffle, our word of the day.
Kerfuffle is our word of the day, both applying to the first game and this game, both of which can be said to have ended in a kerfuffle. Is a great word. I'm going to add that to the list.
Yeah. Okay.
If we have some new people, then our previous words of the day have included some of my favorites: aplomb, egregious, hoist by your own petard, moxie, finagle, fallow, which Lark says a lot, and I think is really very interesting.
Yeet, I believe, was once.
Yeet was in fact one of the words. So I think if the last turn goes to Aeroyak, they can take this because they need to get more Ember, right? And you can very easily take out the Drumble.
You can. I mean, it is elusive, but yeah, you've got a multitude of ways of doing that.
Probably find a way to take out the Drumble.
Yeah, you do. I mean, yeah, and can Jfilipeg get up to? I mean, Jfilipeg though I think can get up to check this turn, right? If he just reaps with all of his disc creatures and say returns that Teleport Chief Tink to hand, he's up to 6 there, and it's then whether Aeroyak can knock that off.
Well, I think you bounce the Terror and replay it.
That too, yeah. I mean, I maybe just think with the Tink, you just kind of like take away one of the cards that they can use. But yeah, I could see actually the Terror could be an even stronger play. Definitely.
I mean, you just need to get as much Ember as possible, right? Because after these 2 turns, both players will forge for 6, and if they both forge, which they probably will both have 6 Ember or more, then it's whoever has the most left.
Yeah, but I can't see this needing tiebreaker rules. To be honest, I think one way or other, we're gonna have a winner here.
Well, we're doing 1 turn each.
Yeah. But yeah.
Let this be a lesson to you. Put timers on your games if they are timed.
say like I said before, I take back everything I said about Jfilipeg's deck because this is performed beyond my wildest expectations for it.
He's played it very well, to
He
be fair.
has, yeah,
Absolutely maximizing all of the things it does, making
definitely.
choices that were quite hard to do, like using your Nepsi for a gateway when I think it had to be done,
Mm. Yeah,
like having to live with those extra chains.
yeah. One thing I maybe would query is that kind of like Aeroyak maybe could have purged some of the gateways slightly earlier. I could have seen kind of like there was some turns where he kind of went for two Ember Pips when he only needed one to knock Jfilipeg off check. I think
Yep,
maybe
he
hitting that
missed
sooner.
he missed a chance to purge the Arise.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. There were some like big cards that you could have also hit with the Infernus, but I think it's difficult because I think also though there are some turns where Jfilipeg has been knocked off of check, and if he had one more Amber, he would have fully won. So I think going for the Ember Pips too is a very good strategy as well,
Yeah, it's always just difficult.
and also just slimming down the amount of Ember Pips Jfilipeg has a chance to play as well.
Yeah, we
It's
talked about the Untamed turn where he couldn't go back to check because even with a Witch of the Eye on the board, because all of the pips had gone.
Mhm. And we are going to see Dis fight the security droid.
So I
Secure droid.
guess what you do is you try and make it as hard as possible to kill the Drumble.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can kind of maybe that's why I was thinking you return the teleport chief Tink. If you return the teleport chief Tink, you only got one creature of each house. Therefore, it's hard to kind of get two fights into the Drumble.
Yeah, could still. It only needs one damage. He's probably got some popping about.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
see if he.
Wonder if you could do both because now you
Fighting
fight the Tink.
fighting the Tink, and then fights it with the Pit Demon.
Puts Novu Dynamo back.
Um,
Problem is Jfilipeg getting to check here?
no, I think at this point then you reap with the Snudge and replay the Terror at full health. Then
Returns the
returns
Drumble.
Huh. That's not what I expected. Poltergeist.
So it
Huh.
doesn't get to check. So if
No. I guess difficult for Aeroyak to kill the Drumble now though, with only one creature of each house.
yes, that's it. Yeah, he fully heals the Drumble. He's
Yeah.
left with one of each house.
So
So unless he can
Starlines is the
shoot
play.
damage.
Does he have anything?
This is for the Ashes.
This is indeed for the Ashes. I don't know. I just feel like Jfilipeg maybe just going to check would have been better there. You still asking a lot of questions at Aeroyak at that point. Detention coil onto the Snudge.
Just
Lay
needs
of
to
the
get
land.
just needs to get over 4 Ember.
He does, yeah.
So and he can draw something here, gets a reap in.
In your turn. Yeah, no, he needs because he's got the shackles as well, though. Bear in mind.
But that doesn't count. This is the last turn.
Ah, of course, right. I see.
And
there's
the kill.
There's and then GG from Jfilipeg, which means this will go to a third
To a
game.
game 3. Oh my god. Hopefully they will remember a timer, and if they do not, I will remind them at the beginning.
I'm going to turn the light on because it has gotten dark during the course of this game in the room I'm watching in.
It's been a good hour and a half. Was the first game long too? Says Jupiter. No, we had a bunch of technical difficulties.
Oh, right, here we go. Oh, game 3.
There's been some ridiculous tense Keyforge that we've seen.
My days, that was incredible.
Like that was absolutely ridiculous. And this is like the Baron and I actually recorded a bunch of Keyforge earlier today that you'll be up on our YouTube in due course. And this is the third game we've done today, and both of the first two were also pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, they were indeed. And here we go. Let's dive into this game and the decider as well.
Exciting game.
Something we've noticed as well, not a lot of games seem to have been going to game 3 thus far. There have been a lot of like 2-0s. This is one of a rarer game that is going to the third game. And yeah.
And that's the first time that Jfilipeg's lost in the KFPL.
It is, yeah.
Will that shake his confidence with the deck?
Very true. And Aeroyak just playing another good play game. Yeah, when you see the second Valjerko come down, do not adjust your sets. It is a different deck. It just also has 2 Captain Valjerkos in it.
So big one for the fans of Valjerko in chat, as everyone should be, because it's great.
I do not want to save the password.
Okay, there is not a timer, so
there is not. This is an issue.
I'm gonna say that they do need to do a timer.
Oh, timer doesn't show till after mulligans.
Ah!
You are a fool, Callum. A fool, I say. You do look silly. Hang your head in shame.
I will hang my head in shame. The embarrassment and the horror that I have brought shame upon the house.
I'll let them know you're hanging your head in shame. It's
going to be interesting. So we're going to have, and again, he's done it again. Turn 1, Valjerko. I mean, that's what you get when you have 2 in the deck. The odds of you having one of them are pretty good.
Keyforge is easy, guys. Just play Valjerko turn 1.
And the memory chip, turn 1 Valjerko memory chip is such a great turn 1.
And we're going to see some Untamed coming down, though.
3 decent creatures?
Yeah, definitely. Which they are, you're never happy to see, as the old adage goes, burn the witch. And we see an E-die as the card of the non-star.
Valjerko number 1.
CXO Tabor, good card.
Pretty good.
Stunner
on the Valjerko.
Fights to which they are going to stun the Ancient Bear.
I'd have maybe taken the Big Twig, but both are pretty solid.
Big Twig can only fight stunned creatures, though. So
yeah, but you can stun and exhaust a bunch of creatures, which is going to be annoying.
I don't know. I wouldn't be that bothered. The Ancient Bear, though, can kill your creatures dead.
This is true.
Also, the Big Twig could now fight the Ancient Bear if it wanted. Just going to put that out there. We are going to see the Pawn Sacrifice. I think the E-die and the Tabor probably going to be taken out by this.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
They are, yeah. Here we go. And we're going to see the Long Fused Mines.
Long Fused Mines are looking a lot better in this deck with many E-dies and lots of fragile Starlight creatures.
Indeed. We're going to see Untamed from Aeroyak. And the Tautau Vapors. Of course, that Captain Valjerko is still working.
Sweet Valjerko shenanigans.
Indeed, yeah. And we're going to draw Ink of the Spider. Big Twig, you shall be the stunned one.
Let's see how you like it.
So, fun fact, Big Twig is not a tree, whereas Tantandlin is a tree.
Big Twig is a beast. Very nice Song of the Wild Ghosthawk play there. Generate a bit of Ember.
A low dawn, just get an Ember. Removes the stuff in Big Twig. Curiosity, not going to hit anything, just getting an Ember, and plays down a Halacore.
Not a great response from Jfilipeg.
No, I think Aeroyak getting a fast start here with this deck. And here we go.
And that's what you're looking for, really. You want to run Jfilipeg out of answers.
Yeah, and I think Ink of the Spider could be seen here using its lesser known effect of Reaping to stun the Halacore, but also could be playing something like a Logos. We are going to see the Pan Packer Jagger. Great with Ink of the Spider, because that has poison and now won't die when it fights, but it's just going to reap and stun the Big Twig. Reaps with the Ghosthawk. Grasping Vines on the Long Fused Mines.
I mean, with this deck, you've got to go fast.
The Fizz. Interesting, didn't choose to play a out-of-house card there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess didn't have much of use.
Yeah, just didn't feel the need to. As we see, though, some buffs across the creatures, and this is a strong start for Aeroyak. Check on 8. Gateway could be troublesome here, but wouldn't be devastating. Maybe that's why he's not playing. Just want to overextend on the board. Is kind of cognizant of how bad those gateways were earlier in the game, and Oubliette's the Ghosthawk. Nice one to get rid of. Plays down the Umbra.
Not the Inca, which I think is what I would have gone for. And the first key goes to Aeroyak in 5 turns. This is more the speed of Keyforge.
The third time in a row, First Blood goes to Aeroyak as he chooses Star Alliance. I suppose wanting to kind of get that Valjerko further from the center too. But looks like, yeah, we will have enough Starlight's cards to get Jericho back in the middle where she belongs.
And Tactical Officer Moon with double Val Jericho. Now that I'm seeing it, it's not going to do anything here, but damn, is that useful.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to see that stun on the Halakor. Really good play here from Aeroyak, just stunning creatures, not killing them, just kind of saying, leaving them on the board, making them nice and hard to use. Halakor affects stack, so still going to be giving skirmish anything on the flank, but strong play here from Aeroyak.
Big Trigger's also stunned. And we're going to get the out-of-house Edai archiving. What is he putting in there?
You do want to. There's the gateway. First gateway of the game. Going to see a Charette come down and a Shaffles. The Terror.
And a Terror. Goes to check.
It does indeed.
Maybe good, because we've seen 2 out of 3 Edais.
We have. We are going to see
but
Logos.
He's gone Logos very quickly, so that could easily be a third Edai coming.
That seems quite likely.
Oh no, Pixable's archives.
Yeah, but it doesn't need massive archives. You only need one from the Edai to stop that key being forged.
True, and he's going to go looking for it with an Igor.
Mm-hmm. Also, just other really nice cards just to kind of like throw down in Logos. You got your Cutthroat Researchers, you've got your Hologramophone. Hapsis is really quite handy in this matchup.
Yeah, a spicy legacy with the Director of CYX.
You do start Cutthroat Research just for the Ember. But
both Cutthroat Research.
The key, unfortunately.
And doesn't deal with any of the diss things that we've seen here either.
No, so that Shaffles is going to be taking an Ember off of Aeroyak at the end of the turn.
Gotta think you're going to want to try and remove some of these things. The Director of ZYX is obviously a big target.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Taking some time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We haven't seen all that much shadows from Jfilipeg. Maybe looking for that, but he's just going to go straight into the div. Gonna fight that Director off the board.
Just fully wants rid of that Director.
Reach with the Shrek. Discards a Ghost Hawk. Oh,
that's a nice hit.
That is a good hit. And Aeroyak, what is he gonna do here? Gonna play Logos. Bear in mind, we've only seen one of the 2 Jericho. Oh no, we have seen both Jerichos. I do apologize. In fact, I think he discarded one of the Jerichos off of that Igor there, actually. I want to reap with the Igor, reap with the Sanitation Engineer. Oh no, fights the Charette with the Sanitation Engineer, wards the Edai, and doesn't quite get to check, unfortunately. And there's the Customs Office coming down. A bit late, though. Aeroyak's already gotten down his memory chip and his hologramophone. And what are we going to see? We're going to see Starlights here coming out of Aeroyak. Comos Kirby, really good one. Can play an action or artifact out of house. Probably not going to want to play an artifact as much because that Customs Office is coming down. But the Kurikar is coming down too. Commander Chan next to it. And it's stealth mode. That could be good. If Jfilipeg was hoping to use, say, that gateway to this again, can't be using that now. Plays that transport platform, willing to pay an Ember for the pleasure of doing so. And yeah. Jfilipeg thinking about his next move. I wonder what he's going to do here. I mean, we've seen quite a lot of Untamed out of him. Maybe go Shadows again. Can hit quite a few things with that long fused mines. Get the Dodger to steal one. Could be good.
A lot of your Shadows are actions, though.
Mm-hmm. They are indeed. That is true.
Very mixed bag at the moment. It's just going to go Dis.
Reach with the Terror. Reach with the Shaffles. Plays the Snudge. Plays the Shula to steal one. Get himself onto check. And
well, not because Edai is keeping him.
True. Yeah. True. And what is Aeroyak gonna do here?
Gotta think Starlines. The chance to potentially double Kirby with the transport platform seems real big.
And also using the Commander Chan, you can then kind of like reap or fight with an Igor or an Eda. Probably going to be reaping one of those. Unless you just want to fight, say, the Igor into a Shackles. But I'd imagine you want to be fighting the Shackles with the Commander Chan to kind of like pull off that thing. A lot of options, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
I
yeah,
go
it does
fight
make the
Shackles.
Igor fight the Shadows after the Commander Chan reap. And Commerce to Kirby is going to reap, allow him to play a non-Starlight thing this turn. I wonder what it will be. And reaps and makes the Kurkar fight the Snudge. Clearly doesn't want having his artifacts being bounced. And very sensible from
Yep, already
Mr.
burned
Aeroyak.
by the Snudge Customs Office combo last game.
Definitely. And what is he going to be playing off that Kirby? I mean, I think Kirby could be is the obvious one for transport platform, but being able to return that Kurkar and play it down again full health could be really good too.
Could be.
And it makes it really hard to fight off the board because you'd really have to. Oh, there's the Jericho as well. I think the interesting. I would have thought with the Jericho
Fogbank. So Fogbank is the first Kirby, so no fighting with the Dodger.
Hang on though, is going to be able to play the Kirby. Can he get something else next to this Kirby to get that Jericho in the middle this turn?
Unless one of those creatures has to be a Star Alliance creature, I think, which is unlikely. Lots of them out already.
Yeah, unless we see him like just put a damage on that Kurkar, get rid of it. Then if he has any ways of doing that in Star Alliance.
And I'm not sure you would, because you
Mimicry
Mimicry's
sacrifices
the pawn
Commander
sacrifice.
Chan. Oh,
nice.
And does get that.
Now Jericho's in the middle.
Yep, so can play an out of house card.
Woohoo! We're playing Keyforge now. I love this. I love this stuff.
Yeah. And
like
Hapsis comes down.
Aeroyak has used all 3 houses in that turn.
He has indeed. That was a spicy turn.
Spicy.
From Aeroyak.
Love it. Goes to check at 7.
Does indeed. And does get that Jericho next to that Lieutenant Kurkar as well, which is very nice.
Yep. A lot of manipulation.
And what is Jfilipeg going to do in response here? Obviously still not on checks. That Edai, warded behind a taunt, hard to get to.
Yeah, and there's 2 left in the deck still.
There is indeed.
And this is the thing about slow decks. Yeah, I've got an Oubliette, which could deal with the Edais, but that's going to be a long time before you see it again.
I haven't seen the drum ball yet, though, so if the drum ball comes down now, he is going to knock Aeroyak off the check. Bait and switch, though, not going to be too effective right now. Nerve Blast could be good. Relentless Whispers could hit that Kurkar. Would be a very nice play. Those are going to be some of the things I imagine Jfilipeg is hoping in this hand. Whether they are or not remains to be seen.
One problem with rearranging your battle line so that Jericho is in the middle is that Kirby and Lang and Kurkar are now going to die to the long fuse mines.
That is true, yes.
So I assume that is going to happen.
Less than ideal. Yeah, maybe would have made sense to put the Hapsis on the other side, put it next to the Edai, but I suppose wanting to keep that ward on the Edai was more important, which I can see too. Jfilipeg having a bit of a think here. And he's going to go Dis. Okay, here we go.
Is it Gateway time?
Maybe.
Is it Drumble time?
May also be that.
Is it Hammer time?
Stop.
You're not allowed puns. I'm not allowed hip-hop references.
And we do see the gateway. And we see the Arise as well.
Does not have the Drumble to take him down to 0, but is going to steal 1.
Capture 3 Shret as well. So yeah, can take him off the check. And the Shackles too, even without the Shret. And yeah, I'll fully say I underestimated this Dis set, because that is brutal.
So the Arise with a bunch of Disc creatures is almost always good with the double gateway.
It is indeed, definitely. And that's something we've said about Aeroyak's decks, and I think it's going to be problematic here, is just not great creature control. And I just got a question, how is he going to be able to deal with this
I don't know at
discard.
all. That's the thing. I think that disboard of 5 creatures is going to stick for quite a long
And we've
time.
seen the Mimicry already, which could have been used to, say, hit that Gateway to Dis. That's already gone. And yeah, this is the deck that we talked about where, it has creature control of what, like 2? It's got that Stunner, and it's got that Ink of the Spider, and that's about it.
Ooh, just doesn't hit with that Cutthroat Research.
But does knock Jfilipeg off the check with the E-Die.
Yes. See, archive some more things.
Mm-hmm. You gotta think here we're going to start to see Snudge, Reaping, or Fighting to put things back into Aeroyak's hand.
And this is where the sort of lock begins again.
It does indeed, yeah.
But it's going to change. We got some Nepsy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just Pixies. Yeah, it's going big now.
It goes up to 10. Does he have a way of knocking away that E-Die?
Grasping Vines.
Oh no, that's brutal.
Three artifacts with the customs office.
Yeah,
down on the board.
Straight into logos from Aeroyak. Now, is he going to try and archive more? And Cutthroat Research knocks him off the check, steals 2.
Now it's going to discard these archives. Another E-Die.
There we go.
So comfortably still not on check.
That's a big key cost for Jfilipeg. Discards Hologramophone. It's not worth giving him the Ember. Don't want to give him the Satisfaction.
And the problem is that these are just going to get 4 off the board now.
They are, and we've still got the Drumble knocking around somewhere. So we might not even get a Fortune. You could also use the Snudge to replay that Shula, steal a 1.
Pick up the Dust Pixie again.
Yep. You're going to see a fight on the E-Die. Another fight on the E-Die.
Now considering what to do.
And Snudge fights the Director, returns to Shula. I think we can probably see the replay to Shula, and then I'd be very surprised if we don't see a Drumble right now. We do.
And there it is. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And there's just no answer to this in Aeroyak's deck.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep happening.
Wrong house from Aeroyak. Yeah, I think he might play Star Alliance, so he's going to attempt to switch manual mode on. Jfilipeg allows it.
All very gentlemanly.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of thing most people are happy to do. It seems harsh not to. And well, we're going to see from big archive here for Aeroyak though. We see the Valjerica come down. Another E-Die.
So
stealth mode.
But the problem is that this disboard is just
Stunner.
It's gonna keep doing things in a way that he can't stop.
Platform. Yeah, this is the thing: is that Aeroyak can just fight that E-Die, reap with Dis, and then that's the third E-Die. What do you do at that point?
You got nothing. It's a deck that needs board to do things.
Mm.
And once you've lost that, this is often the problem with the Worlds Collide Logo Star Alliance Untamed, that once you've lost that board, it can be very difficult to come back.
Yeah.
Jfilipeg's got 15 Ember here. Comfortably enough for 2 keys with all the E-Dice gone.
Yeah, I can't really see any way of pulling out of this.
It's going to pick up a giant Untamed archive.
But I don't really see... Grasping Vines could be useful. Knock away a lot of... Yeah, there we go. Jfilipeg's artifacts. Back to hand. Jfilipeg asking to wait, maybe wanting to just look at the discard.
Want to see the discard pile again.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's presumably still quite a bit of turn left for Aeroyak, but...
Yeah, let me just turn one.
I'm just asking if he can check the discard after he plays his last card. Aeroyak's saying okay, but seems slightly bemused. Discard Song of the Wild here.
No creatures to reap with it.
No, none at all. And Aeroyak seeming to think this game is somewhat of a foregone conclusion.
I think perhaps correctly.
Yeah, and he's discarding that giant Norbill. Interestingly, he doesn't want to play it, just discarding. Is it a low dawn thing?
I think it is a low dawn thing. But also, it is stuff that keeps getting bounced back to his hand. Yeah, there's a low dawn.
There's a low dawn. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
But Jfilipeg's going to forge key 2 for 6 and be on 10, 12 Ember or something. And there's a concession.
There's the concession, yeah. I think Aeroyak just couldn't get down to enough where he's going to be able to draw into. And
yeah, and also just once the Gateway Arise happens, then I don't think the deck has a response.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, and yeah, as I say, I stand corrected on this deck completely. Like in this deck,
I'm gonna look back into the deck chart and see how firm I was that this was good.
I mean, I didn't say it was bad. I just said that it was, not as good as other Kota decks that we've seen, and I say yeah, this disc was.
I said it was. Yeah, the disc doing far more of the punching here than we really thought it would.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna sign off now. Thank you very much for listening to our maiden stream of Screech Bomb commentaries.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming as well. We'll hopefully be doing this again soon. This is still kind of a new avenue for us. We can tend to do more of the
we usually just
pre-recorded
jump onto other. Also, we just usually jump onto other people's streams and let them do the complicated technical work.
But yeah, hopefully next time I'll be more up on kind of like the technology is just the thing, so I don't have to do as much going. I don't want to do that because I don't want to break anything.
The important thing, I think we streamed successfully and people saw 3 excellent games of Keyforge.
Yeah, brilliant Keyforge from both players. Like especially that second game was incredible.
It was just tense. It was so very tense. I could not cope at all.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching and listening. I have been David Baron von Fabulous Lark.
And I've been Callum, the Good Doctor Young.
Together we are Screech Bomb Commentaries. Thank you very much for listening and goodbye.
Bye-bye.